welcome to Bamboo Audio, where gentle, healing love stories warm your heart. Please give the channel a like and subscribe so we have motivation to release new stories. A 6-year-old girl met Emperor Leon for the first time. She unexpectedly and bluntly criticized him for being stingy right in front of everyone. Not only did she complain that the fruit in the banquet hall was spoiled, but she also claimed the food from the Imperial Kitchen was not as good as KFC. However, her parents were not surprised at all. Their daughter had been accustomed to mumbling in her heart since she was small, occasionally blurting out earth-shattering statements. Fortunately, until now, only family members had heard her. But unexpectedly, as soon as she finished speaking this time, both Emperor Leon and Empress Regina looked around in confusion. The ministers and their female relatives also glanced around in bewilderment. Minister Thomas Song and his wife immediately broke out in a cold sweat. What was happening? Judging by the situation, at least half the people in the Great Hall heard their daughter's inner voice. At this moment, the culprit behind it all did not realize anything unusual. She was still whispering to her gossip system. Why does this lychee taste so strange? Qua qua, be happy you have food. Do not expect an airplane to transport it for you. Picked in the morning and eaten in the afternoon, what more do you want? The people around were stunned. What is an airplane? Can it really transport things that fast? Suddenly, the precious fruit in their hands was no longer attractive. Emperor Leon frowned and scanned the entire hall from his high seat. Clearly no one had opened their mouth just now, so where did that sound come from? Before long, many people reacted. Could it be that they had just heard the inner voice of a little girl? Just then, the voice rang out again. Are there not supposed to be dancers in the banquet? The party has been open for so long. Why make us wait forever? Emperor Leon was slightly embarrassed. He hurriedly coughed twice. He had been so busy looking for the source of the sound that he forgot to declare the start of the banquet. The banquet officially began. Following the voice of the chief eunuch Victor, a group of dancers in exotic costumes gracefully entered. Under the melodious sound of flutes, they began to dance. I immediately opened my eyes wide and gasped in admiration. These little goblins are so seductive. If I were a man, my soul would be hooked. I really want to try hugging one. Hee hee. The inner voice suddenly rang out again, causing many people to choke on their tea. Host, keep your image. How can you look so lecherous when you smile? I know, no one can hear me anyway. The problem is that many people can hear you. A soft and lovely voice uttered such shocking sentences that the entire hall could not help but cough dryly. What is wrong with them? Is there a problem with the tea? Everyone hurriedly picked up their teacups to check carefully. Host, stop acting, the tea is fine. They must be imagining things because they are looking at the dancers. I nodded. I told you these dancers are truly well endowed. Look, that black-faced uncle over there has his eyes practically glued to them. And that silver-bearded uncle, his beard is shaking and his hands are trembling. The great general and the prime minister, who were named, immediately cried out miserably in their hearts. It is not us, do not speak nonsense, we are not being seduced. Meanwhile, Minister Thomas and his wife, along with their 3 other children, were about to go crazy hearing my inner voice. This brat was already mischievous at home, but they did not expect her to let herself go to this extent today. She said whatever she wanted without restraint. What if she angered Emperor Leon? Not long after, the dance performance ended. I was looking forward to the next program when I heard Emperor Leon speak. My beloved subjects, on the occasion of the mid-autumn reunion, let us all take turns saying a few words of blessing. Hearing this, everyone's eyes lit up. This was a brilliant move. By doing this, they could definitely find the owner of the inner voice. A series of officials responded, leaving those who could not hear the inner voice confused. The civil and military officials were usually at odds, so why were they so united today? Was there a change in the court? Under the pretended calm gaze of my parents and siblings, I had already thought of my blessing. I confidently walked my short legs to the center of the hall. After bowing, I looked up immediately, and in my heart, I screamed. Qua qua. This emperor is so handsome. Even though he is a bit old, he is still a dashing handsome uncle. Hearing this, Emperor Leon could not help but touch his face. When he was young, he had indeed charmed many young ladies. And Empress Regina, how can she be so beautiful? Is this the beauty described in books? Empress Regina heard that immature but sincere voice and could not help but smile. Then I looked towards the Grand Empress. Is this Grand Empress Mary? Why does she not look like I imagined? Grand Empress Mary expression changed slightly, but immediately after she heard my inner voice again. I see she looks so gentle and kind, just like the Bodhisattva in the temple. Grand Empress Mary paused and then laughed more kindly. Host, stop gazing at the handsome men and beautiful women, people are waiting for you to say your blessing. Oh my, I know. Is it not because mother does not let me look around randomly? Besides, just now I was busy looking for food and did not have time to see clearly what Emperor Leon looked like, so of course, I have to look enough now. I put my small hand to my lips and cleared my throat softly. Immediately after, a childish and familiar voice rang out in the great hall. The daughter of the Song family, Jiggy, bows to wish your majesty peace and goodness. I wished everyone present today a happy reunion. As a time traveler with a delicate soul, I naturally memorized many poems about the Mid-Autumn Festival. But after all, I am still just a kid. Moreover, I decided early on that in this life being a lazy salted fish is enough. By this time, everyone was sure that I was the source of the inner voice. But looking at the obedient and polite little girl in front of them, she was completely different from the noisy inner voice from before. Emperor Leon suppressed his laughter and spoke. Is this your first time in the palace? I have never seen you before. I nodded. Your subject is kept strictly at home. My parents did not let me go out before. Hearing this, everyone tried to hold back their laughter. With the hyperactive nature of this girl, no family would dare to let her out. Grand Empress Mary laughed and said, I like this child very much. I reward her with a pair of jade bracelets. Empress Regina also continued, I also reward her with a hairpin made of pearls and rubies. Happiness came so suddenly, I hurriedly thanked them and then happily ran back to my seat. Mother, please keep these rewards for me. Lady Nancy Song smiled forcedly, but her toes were almost digging into the ground from embarrassment. Over the years, it was not that they had not wanted to teach their daughter not to think randomly about others in her head, but every time they tried to speak, the words stuck in their throats. For my safety, Minister Thomas and his wife had never let me go out. But this time it was an imperial decree. All officials from the 4th rank and above had to bring their families to the palace for the banquet. Initially, they still held a bit of luck, thinking that the inner voice would not be heard by others. Who would have thought I would play such a big game? Now they could only silently pray that I would not accidentally say something treasonous today. As soon as I sat down, they heard me continue chatting with Kwa Kwa. Tell me, did I get rewarded because I was cute just now? Everyone likes me, right? Kwa could not stand it anymore and spoke up. Host, can you stop hallucinating? They rewarded you probably because they were afraid you would not speak fluently and cry on the spot. I puffed up my cheeks. Kwa Kwa, you are trash. Do you believe I will roast you into a sweet potato right now? Everyone heard me chatting with Kwa Kwa, and their shoulders shook as they held back laughter. A young lord could not help but laugh out loud and was immediately silenced by the person next to him. An inner voice with such a strange way of talking was something they had encountered for the first time. Moreover, Emperor Leon had not spoken yet, so no one dared to take any action. At this moment, the dance performance started again. I excitedly rubbed my hands in anticipation when Kwa Kwa suddenly shouted, Host, danger! There is an assassin among the dancers. It is the tallest one in the back row. As soon as the words were spoken, all eyes turned to that tall female dancer. Oh my God, can one encounter an assassin even at a banquet? He is wearing so little clothing, how does he plan to assassinate? Does he intend to crush people to death with his height? I panicked and started stammering nonsense. He is a man dressed as a woman. His weapon is a soft sword wrapped around his waist. There is also poison hidden in his sleeves. I became even more frantic. What should I do? How should I remind Emperor Leon? If I say it directly, will I be considered an accomplice? I anxiously thought of a plan, but at the critical moment my mind went blank just like Kwa Kwa. The system was helpless. You find a way yourself. Do not drag me into your cursing. At this moment, the dancer was gliding in the middle of the hall. Everyone could not yet confirm if my inner voice was true or false, but around Emperor Leon, many highly skilled guards had appeared. Just when I had not yet thought of a plan, the tall female dancer suddenly drew a sword and rushed straight towards Emperor Leon. Everyone screamed in horror. My father, Minister Thomas, hurriedly protected my mother. My 2 brothers quickly pulled me and my sister to run away to avoid the danger. The result was that they missed. I had quickly slipped under the table thanks to my small body. My policy is to stay on the front line of eating melons and hide well to watch the drama with my own eyes. I watched the situation in the great hall while mumbling to Kwa Kwa. I have not even thought of a way yet, and they are already fighting. Wow, did that guard just use the Descendants ending kick? That is amazing, the system cried out. Host, do not randomly name people's martial arts moves. It was a decent move, but coming from your mouth it sounds incredibly awkward. Ah, your butt is still sticking out. Hide it quickly, or you might get slapped. Hearing the inner voice, even though the situation was tense, everyone could not help but look towards me. They only saw that at this moment the upper body of Gigi Song was under the table, but her lower body was outside. The child was sticking her butt out and trying hard to squeeze inside. Seeing such a scene of Gigi, the fear in the hearts of those around completely vanished. Some people could not help but cover their mouths and laugh. The young lady of the Song family looked very gentle on the outside. Who would have thought she was so wild on the inside? She is truly a living treasure. As Gigi continued to squeeze under the table, she was pulled out. Gigi turned around and saw it was her brother, Quincy Song. She stopped resisting. Quincy dragged her by the collar. Not long after, the two reached a relatively safe place. Just now, the Song family had gone a long distance before realizing their youngest daughter was missing. Then they heard the little girl's thoughts. When they looked back, they saw her sticking her butt out under the table. Gigi was already 12 years old. In broad daylight, making such a pose was truly undignified. Seeing the angry faces of her parents, Gigi hurriedly pretended to be pitiful. She pulled Lady Nancy Song's sleeve, her eyes filled with tears, and said, "Mother, there was an assassin, I was so scared." After saying that, she patted her chest in fear. Even though she knew Gigi was just pretending, seeing her pitiful appearance, Lady Nancy Song still softened her heart. What could she do? After all, she was her own flesh and blood. Then Lady Nancy Song thought she would have to teach her a lesson when they got home. She wondered if it would be too late by then. Lady Nancy Song suppressed her anger. "You knew you were scared but did not know to hide further away. Next time remember not to do that." Gigi immediately replied, "I will stay far away." "Mother, do not be angry, I just slipped up. When we get home I will massage your shoulders and legs." Gigi stuck out her tongue. She had finally passed this hurdle. In her previous life, Gigi was also named Gigi. She was a versatile military doctor. She was abandoned in front of an orphanage when she was small and was picked up by the director. Just like that, she grew up in the orphanage. From a young age, Gigi was very smart. She knew early on that she had to work hard to get the things she liked. Therefore, she studied very hard and was always at the top of her class. When taking the university entrance exam, Gigi passed into the military medical school she loved with excellent results. She studied continuously from university to a doctorate in 8 years. After graduation, she entered the army as a military doctor with outstanding achievements. She worked as a military doctor for 10 years. In her spare time, she also learned a lot of traditional medical knowledge from experienced doctors. She thought she would live like that for the rest of her life. But unexpectedly, during a border conflict, Gigi fainted from overwork while treating patients and never woke up again. When Gigi woke up again, she found herself an unborn child in Lady Nancy Song's belly and was attached to a gossip system. When Gigi was born smoothly into this world, she understood that she had come to a fictional dynasty that had never appeared in Chinese history. Her father, Minister Thomas, was a 4th-rank official in the Ministry of Revenue. Her mother, Lady Nancy Song, was the legitimate daughter of the General's Manor, a 2nd-rank official. Her parents were deeply in love. There were no concubines or illegitimate children in the backyard. Her eldest brother, Quincy, was 17 years old this year, talented in both literature and martial arts. He was engaged to the legitimate daughter of a 5th-rank general. Just waiting a few more years, her future sister-in-law would officially enter the door. Her second brother, Harry Song, was 15 years old. He had loved martial arts since he was small and often practiced spear techniques. Usually, he mainly trained in the military camp outside the city. This time, he returned from the camp because of official business. Her eldest sister, Linda Song, was 14 years old. She was gentle, dignified, calm, and elegant. She was proficient in music, chess, calligraphy, painting, and embroidery. She was a typical lady of a noble family. Currently, she was in the process of looking for a husband. Compared to her eldest sister, Gigi was truly an outsider. In her previous life, because she was an orphan, she had to work hard by herself. But this life was different. She had parents who loved her, brothers who took care of her, and the status of a wealthy young lady. She did not have to worry about food or drink. Why should she work hard like in her previous life? She did not want to live a hard life anymore. In her previous life, Gigi did not have a boyfriend. Thinking back, it was a pity. Now she just wanted to live comfortably and happily. Just living like that was enough. She did not like poetry or singing, nor did she like embroidery. There were no phones or tablets here to kill time. Her parents did not let her go out of the manor. They said there were many people outside who specialized in kidnapping children, fearing that she would be taken away. Fine then. If she could not go out, she would not go out. When she was bored, Gigi would carry her small stool and squeeze into the place where the old maids in the manor gathered. She would take out the melon seeds she had prepared, sitting with them to nibble and listen to gossip. At first, the old maids were very apprehensive that this little master took the initiative to run over and talk. But gradually, everyone became familiar. The old maids also understood that this little master loved to hear such stories, so they told them even more enthusiastically. Lady Nancy Song looked at her young daughter, who did not look like a lady at all. She had beaten her and scolded her, but it had no effect. This daughter was naturally stubborn, making her worry until her hair turned gray. After this banquet in the palace, who knew what fate their family would face? At this moment, the assassin had been subdued and pinned to the ground. The guard dislocated his jaw, fished out the poison pill hidden between his teeth, and then searched his body, confiscating the soft sword at his waist. The thing that made everyone speechless was that the guard also pulled out 2 white steamed buns from the assassin's chest. The assassin was taken away. After he left, everyone's eyes turned to Gigi again. The assassin, dressed as a woman, hid a dagger in his sleeve and carried a soft sword at his waist. Everything perfectly matched what Kwakwa had said earlier. Could it be that Kwakwa had the ability to predict the future? If Gigi knew what everyone was thinking, she would definitely speak up directly. Everyone was overthinking. Kwakwa was just a gossip system and had no ability to predict anything. But as long as something had already happened, Kwakwa knew it all. She felt the eyes of everyone around her and thought to herself, Kwakwa, what is wrong with them? Is there a flower on my face? Why is everyone staring at me? Kwakwa did not know either. Hearing Gigi's thoughts, everyone hurriedly withdrew their gazes, fearing she would discover something. Empress Regina ordered the maids and guards to clean up the items damaged during the banquet. And then the party continued. Gigi looked at Empress Regina's action and could not help but be suspicious. Logically speaking, if an assassination occurred during the banquet, the party should have ended, yet after cleaning up, it continued as if nothing had happened. Was it because she had too little experience, or did the people present all have nerves of steel? Sigh. I am old, truly old. I have lived comfortably for too long and now I cannot stand even a little trouble. In the system space, Kwakwa's face also distorted. Hearing these words, the corners of everyone's mouths could not help but twitch. Young lady, do you know what you just said? You are only 12 years old, a genuine child. If you are old, then are the people here who are older than you all monsters? Gigi had lost interest in the singing and dancing in the Great Hall, so she asked Kwakwa. Kwakwa, can you not detect the gossip of people within 10 meters of me? Tell me about it. Host, I wanted to say it for a long time, but earlier I saw you eating so happily, and then you were attracted by the beautiful women, so I did not want to spoil your mood. Now that you want to hear it, I will tell you. Look over there. Do you see that 4th rank official, the middle-aged man with a thin figure and a long beard who looks very scholarly? Gigi glanced over and immediately withdrew her gaze. I see him. Everyone also turned to look at that official, carefully observing his entire family. The family of that official suddenly felt many eyes focused on them. Although they did not understand what was happening, they still nodded in greeting to the people around them. At this moment, Kwakwa slowly spoke. Do not look at his appearance as a gentleman, he is actually a piece of scum. His name is Luke Liu. He has been smarter than others since childhood. His parents sent him to a private school to study. Whatever the teacher taught, he only needed to hear once to understand and could even infer other things. He was the most outstanding among the students. Teacher Wang liked Luke Liu very much, so he discussed with Luke's parents about setting up an engagement between his only daughter, Tina Wang, and Luke. When Luke was 10 years old, his father went into the forest to gather herbs to prepare for his son's exam. Unfortunately, he fell off a cliff and his body was never found. The family was already poor, and now they became even more destitute. Putting food on the table became a problem. Let alone continuing to study, Luke Liu was facing the risk of having to drop out of school. At this time, Luke Liu's mother took the marriage contract to find Teacher Wang, begging him to help so her son could continue his studies. Teacher Wang looked at Luke Liu and felt that he truly had the aptitude for studying, and it would be a pity to give up halfway. Moreover, he only had one daughter. He hoped that his daughter could have a good life in the future, so he agreed. However, the condition for helping Luke Liu continue his studies was that because Teacher Wang was old, the son-in-law and daughter had to be responsible for supporting him in his old age. After all, Teacher Wang's wife had passed away long ago, and now he only had his daughter to rely on. For the sake of her son's education, Luke Liu's mother agreed. Teacher Wang's daughter, Tina Wang, was a gentle and affectionate girl. She had been taught to read by her father since childhood and was also talented and sensible. While Luke Liu was away studying, Tina Wang often went to the Liu family's house to take care of her future mother-in-law, washing clothes, cooking, and devotedly taking care of everything inside and out. Luke Liu indeed had a talent for reading. A few years later, he passed the county exam. Wanting better study conditions, he proposed going to the district city to study at a large academy. Teacher Wang thought about his family situation but still gritted his teeth and decided to agree. However, since Luke Liu passed the exam, his mother began to look down on Tina Wang, feeling that she was not worthy of her son. But because they still had to rely on Teacher Wang to continue his studies, even though they despised Tina, they were not excessive enough to break off the relationship. Luke Liu's mother was truly greed without limits, wanting to benefit while acting high and mighty. She was truly a shameless person, but the matter did not stop there. After going to the district city, not long after, Luke Liu hooked up with Helen Li, the daughter of a wealthy merchant. Helen Li greatly admired Luke Liu's talent. He took advantage of this, fabricating himself as a pitiful person forced by his teacher to marry his ugly daughter. He complained, saying that Teacher Wang used the marriage contract as an excuse to force him to support the old man for life. Hearing this, Helen Li was furious. A daughter married out is like spilled water. There is no such thing as a son-in-law having to support his father-in-law. This matter went against common sense and logic. The more she thought about it, the more resentful Helen Li became. Finally, she bribed a group of bandits to break into Teacher Wang's house, brutally killing both Teacher Wang and Tina Wang. Then, the robbers ransacked the house, pretending it was a robbery and murder case. It was truly cruel. Everyone shivered upon hearing this. Luke Li was truly malicious. He did not want to do it himself, so he manipulated Helen Li to become the knife that killed for him. After the incident, Helen Li immediately sent people to eliminate the bandits. It was not until a few days later that the neighbors discovered the bodies of Teacher Wang and Tina Wang. By then, the bodies were already decomposing. They immediately reported to the officials, but the local officials only investigated perfunctorily. Finally, the case became an unsolved mystery. As for Luke Liu, thanks to his eloquent tongue, he not only gained Helen Li's trust but also slept with her without needing to marry her. It was not until her pregnancy grew large that Master Li discovered it. Although he was very angry that his daughter did something shameful, he also admitted Luke Liu's academic talent. He thought that with this son-in-law's talent, perhaps one day he would bring glory to the Li family. So, despite his dissatisfaction, Master Li still accepted this marriage. The Li family was wealthy, so raising an extra son-in-law was not a big deal. Just like that, Luke Liu did not spend a penny on betrothal gifts but married the precious daughter of a wealthy family, enjoying a prosperous life without worrying about food or clothing. When he had some money in hand, he bought a house and prepared to serve his mother like an old mistress. Thanks to Master Li's connections, Luke Liu began to know many merchants and his greed grew accordingly. He did not want to continue being controlled by Master Li, so he secretly plotted with outsiders to murder or make Master Li's son become foolish one by one. Master Li suspected someone was targeting his family, but he never thought of Luke Liu because he always kept the appearance of a scholar who only cared about reading holy books. How could he bear to murder his wife's entire family? However, once greed had arisen, it would not stop easily. Luke Liu even kidnapped the two sons of a close guard beside Master Li, forcing him to poison his master. The guard also had to rely on his two sons to carry on the family line. Those two children absolutely could not have any accidents. He had no other choice but to betray Master Li, secretly administering slow poison to him. This servant had served Master Li for more than 20 years. Master Li trusted him very much, so he had no defense. 1 year later, the poison took effect, and Master Li passed away. Luke Liu took over the entire fortune of the Li family. After Master Li died, Luke Liu brought his biological mother into the Li mansion. He was afraid of gossip, so although he did not change the name of the Li mansion to the Liu mansion, all the assets of the Li family were in his hands. Heaven truly had no eyes. A few years later, Luke Liu passed the provincial exam, then stepped into the officialdom step by step, and was finally appointed as the second highest scorer by Emperor Leon. When riding a horse through the streets, he caught the eye of Clara Chen. Clara Chen was the daughter of Duke Chen. Although she was a lady of a noble family, in terms of status, she was still a match for Luke Liu. When he learned that Duke Chen wanted to marry his daughter to him, he was overjoyed. But as soon as he saw Clara Chen's appearance, he clearly showed disgust and contempt. Although he hated Clara Chen for being fat, rough, and having no femininity, compared to power, what was an ugly woman? The daughter of the Duke absolutely could not be a concubine. Luke Liu had to demote Helen Li to a concubine. How could Helen Li be willing? Over the years she had endured, just waiting for the day Luke Liu succeeded so she could be the main wife of an official. Why should she go from being a main wife to a concubine? But Luke Liu was extremely tough. Helen Li had no other way, so she used the death of teacher Wang and Tina Wang years ago to threaten him. Unexpectedly, this reminded Luke Liu of his shameful past. Deciding to finish it once and for all, he had people pretend to be bandits. While Helen Li went to the temple to pray, they murdered both her and their biological daughter. After Helen Li died, Luke Liu pretended to be extremely heartbroken. Everyone praised him for being affectionate and loyal to his wife. It was just a pity that Helen Li's fate was thin. She had not been an official's wife for long before she died, and even her daughter died young with her mother. It was truly the impermanence of the world. With no one left to hinder him, Luke Liu used the Li family's assets as a betrothal gift and officially married Clara Chen as his wife. Thanks to the help of Duke Chen's manor over the years, he was promoted to the position of a fourth-rank official. Although this was just a leisurely position, compared to others, he had saved decades of struggle. After hearing Luke Liu's path to promotion, Jigi could not help but shudder. The officials sitting near the Liu family hurriedly moved a bit further away. Everyone in the hall felt a chill run down their spines without being cold. They did not expect that Luke Liu, who usually looked like a gentle scholar, could murder his mentor, harm his fiancée, and kill his wife and child. Indeed, one cannot judge a person by appearance. At this moment, a sigh rang out in Gigi's heart. Kwa, is this what they call a ruthless man? Luke Liu's entire official career relied on women to rise. Not only did he kill so many people, but he also cruelly laid hands on his own biological daughter. Even a tiger does not eat its cubs. Luke Liu is truly worse than a beast. If such a person becomes an official, will the people ever have a peaceful day? Fortunately, he only holds a leisurely position. If he steps into an important position in the court, I am afraid he will immediately eliminate anyone he does not like. Those who heard Gigi's thoughts all nodded in agreement. If one day Luke Liu has power in his hands, I am afraid the world will be hard to keep peaceful. Hearing these words, Emperor Leon's face changed greatly. Such a vicious person was in his court. If one day he also found the emperor unpleasant, would he lay hands on him too? Thinking of this, Emperor Leon immediately summoned Eunuch Victor and whispered a few words in his ear. Eunuch Victor nodded, retreated to his old place, and signaled a guard to go investigate Luke Liu. Emperor Leon wanted to know clearly if the things revealed by Gigi's thoughts were true or not. Jigi continued to ask, Kwa, tell me, does Duke Chen know about these things regarding Luke Liu? He knows. Before marrying his daughter, Duke Chen definitely investigated the 3 generations of the Liu family clearly. Then is he not afraid that after Luke Liu gains power, he will treat the Duke's manor like he did the Li family? Duke Chen is very confident. He simply does not put Luke Liu in his eyes, so of course he is not worried. Humph, keeping a wolf by his side, there will be a day when the Duke's manor will cry. Everyone looked at Luke Liu's family and then at the Duke's manor. Their faces were still calm, as if they had not heard Jigi's thoughts. Everyone was curious why some people could hear her thoughts while others could not. At this time, the singing and dancing in the great hall had also ended. Everyone was still waiting to hear gossip. But Gigi's inner voice did not ring out anymore. Empress Regina continued to entertain the ladies and young misses. Emperor Leon made an excuse and led all the ministers away, heading towards the Hall of Mental Cultivation. Arriving at the Hall of Mental Cultivation, Emperor Leon was the first to speak. My beloved subjects, you have all heard the matter regarding Minister Thomas's daughter, Gigi. Emperor Leon wanted to say the words inner voice, but as soon as the words reached his throat, it was as if someone was strangling him, and he could not utter them no matter what. Emperor Leon's face turned red, and he could not help but cough dryly. Eunuch Victor immediately stepped forward and gently patted Emperor Leon's back. The ministers also hurriedly asked, Your Majesty, are you all right? Emperor Leon waved his hand and tried to speak again several times, but as long as he mentioned inner voice or mind reading, the choking sensation appeared again. At this moment, Emperor Leon realized that those words simply could not be spoken. After steadying his breath, Emperor Leon continued. Did you all hear it just now at the banquet? Hearing this, some ministers looked confused. Hear what? Why does your Majesty not speak clearly? Some also understood and nodded slightly. A few ministers tried to say the words inner voice, but they also felt like their throats were being strangled and coughed repeatedly, unable to speak no matter what. Only then did they understand why Emperor Leon had coughed so violently just now. Seeing the state of the ministers, Emperor Leon continued. Those who heard it stand to the left, and those who did not stand to the right. In just a moment, the group was divided into 2. The number of people who heard and those who did not was equal. Emperor Leon waved his hand. Those who did not hear returned to the banquet. After the group on the right had all left, Emperor Leon looked towards Minister Thomas. Minister Song explained clearly the situation regarding Gigi. Minister Thomas closed his eyes slightly, took a deep breath, and spoke slowly. Since my daughter Gigi was born, we have been able to hear her inner voice. My wife and the other 3 children in the house can all hear it, but the maids, old women, and servants in the manor cannot. That system named Kwakwa has always been by her side since she was born. Through the conversations between her and Kwakwa, we learned that my daughter brought memories of her previous life when she reincarnated into our family. Over the years, we have verified countless times. Anything my daughter mentions to Kwakwa is the truth. Hearing this, the people below immediately buzzed with discussion. So the story about Luke killing his mentor, murdering his fiancée, killing his wife and killing his daughter is all true. I did not expect Luke Liu to be so vicious. We are officials alongside this kind of person, we must be very careful in the future. Why is there such a person with the heart of a wolf, worse than a beast? Such a person is absolutely unworthy of being an official. Emperor Leon raised his hand to stop them, and immediately all the ministers fell silent. He continued to ask, "Why can some people hear it while others cannot? Your subject does not know either. Since my daughter was born, we have always kept her in the manor because that Kwakwa system knows too many secrets of others. For her safety, your subject had no other choice." Emperor Leon nodded and asked again, "How much do you know about Gigi's previous life?" Occasionally, your subject hears her mention a sentence or two, but the words she says to Kwakwa are completely incomprehensible to your subject and my family, so we cannot know what her previous life was like. Emperor Leon pondered for a while and then spoke curiously. "Today Gigi mentioned an airplane. What is that? Is it a chicken that can fly?" Your subject does not know. Fine then, there will be many opportunities to find out in the future. Besides, I have sent people to investigate Luke Liu's matter. The truth will be revealed very soon. As for the matter that everyone can hear Gigi's inner voice, after returning you must warn your families. Absolutely do not let the child know. Otherwise kill without mercy. Leaving the hall of mental cultivation, the ministers returned to the banquet. Empress Regina saw that it was late, so she dismissed the banquet, and everyone returned to their manners. Gigi was ordered by her parents again not to leave the manor. She thought that after entering the palace once, her parents would no longer confine her. Unexpectedly, nothing changed. She sighed, her heart feeling cold. "Kwakwa, I really do not understand. I am already 12 years old, why am I still not allowed to go out? When I was small, they said they were afraid I would be kidnapped by bad guys. But now I am big, yet they still use that reason to deceive me. That being said, cases of girls being kidnapped are not few. Your parents only want what is best for you. Kwa, whose side are you on anyway? Of course I am on your side. But what your parents say is not wrong. Think about it carefully, it seems correct. Cases of girls being kidnapped happen quite often. Like me, a great beauty whom everyone loves, whom flowers see and bloom for. It is understandable that others would covet me. It is all because this damn charm attracts people too much." Kwakwa rolled its eyes and glared at Gigi. Its host truly had no self-awareness and was even narcissistic. Even if your parents have good intentions, you still have to find a way to convince them to let you go out of the manor. In the manor, we have eaten everyone's melons. We have even gossiped about the dog guarding the kitchen door. If we do not go out to eat new melons, Kwakwa's energy will not be fully replenished. I know I will think of a way. Recently, Gigi had found many reasons to ask her parents to let her go out of the manor, but both of them firmly disagreed. They even increased the number of guards at the gate and strictly instructed them not to let Gigi go out. Gigi was extremely depressed. Kwa kept urging her to think of a way out, but with this strict guarding she had no solution either. "Fine then, if I cannot go out I will not go out." Gigi carried her small stool towards the backyard to find the group of old maids to listen to gossip. Although the energy collected was not much, it was better than nothing. A few days later, the people Emperor Leon sent to investigate Luke Liu returned. In his hometown Luke Liu was also a famous figure, so his story was easy to investigate. Emperor Leon attentively read the report on the desk. Although he had known the whole truth in Gigi's heart before, when he actually saw these investigation results, Emperor Leon could not help but be shaken. It was truly a vicious method. The report also investigated Duke Chen's manor. Although they knew everything, the death of Helen Li had no involvement from the Duke's manor. Lucky. Duke Chen did not participate in this matter. That also made Emperor Leon feel somewhat comforted. Emperor Leon closed the report. It seemed that what Minister Thomas said was true. As long as it was something Gigi and that system mentioned, it was definitely the truth. Emperor Leon ordered the commander of the Imperial Guard to immediately lead troops to surround Luke Liu's mansion. Immediately after, Eunuch Victor brought an imperial decree to arrest all of Luke Lu's family and put them in the Great Prison, simultaneously confiscating all his assets. The ministers in the court heard this news and understood everything. Luke Lu's matter had been completely verified. After being arrested, Luke Lu still held a bit of hope, wanting to ask Duke Chen's manor to come forward and help. But Duke Chen was not stupid. Although they did not hear Jiji's inner voice that day, just looking at Emperor Leon's decisive attitude when dealing with Luke Lu, they knew he had violated Emperor Leon's great taboo. No one dared to come forward to save him. Duke Chen sent a message to Clara Chen saying she had to divorce Luke Lu. If she did not, she would definitely lose her life. Clara Chen was terrified and immediately caused a scene, demanding a divorce from Luke Lu. Initially, Luke Lu thought that after the divorce, Duke Chen's manor might respect Clara Chen and protect his children. Therefore, he accepted signing the divorce letter. But unexpectedly, as soon as she got the divorce letter, Clara Chen left without hesitation, completely abandoning her children. Luke Lu could not believe it. Those were her biological children. How could she be so cruel? But Clara Chen thought differently. She had struggled to escape the death sentence, so she had no mind to worry about other things. Children lost could be born again, but compared to children, her life was much more important. Finally, Luke Lu was sentenced to be beheaded immediately. As for his children, because they were young, they were not executed but were sold as official slaves. After dealing with Luke Lu, Emperor Leon began to worry again. Was Jiji's appearance in the Heavenly Phoenix dynasty a blessing or a curse? Suddenly, Emperor Leon remembered someone, Grandmaster Lu. He was an enlightened high monk and could definitely help him answer this doubt. Thinking so, Emperor Leon waved his hand. Immediately, a shadow appeared in front of him. Go to White Cloud Temple outside the city and invite Grandmaster Lu to come immediately. I have an urgent and important matter that needs the Grandmaster's enlightenment. The next afternoon, Emperor Leon met Grandmaster Lu. Grandmaster Lu, long time no see. Amitabha, Your Majesty. Long time no see. This poor monk has calculated what Your Majesty wants to ask. This matter was destined 12 years ago. While observing the celestial phenomenon at night, I knew that the Heavenly Phoenix dynasty had a lucky star descend. What? You observed it 12 years ago. But why did you not tell me? At that time? Although the lucky star had been born in the Heavenly Phoenix dynasty, she was still just a child in swaddling clothes. At that time, the opportunity to meet Your Majesty had not yet arrived. If I deliberately arranged a meeting, it might cause the lucky star to have a short life. Therefore, this old monk did not report to Your Majesty. Then who is that lucky star? Has Your Majesty not met her already? Today Your Majesty summoned this old monk, was it not also because of the lucky star's matter? You mean Jiggy is the lucky star, correct? This lucky star will bring unprecedented luck to the Heavenly Phoenix dynasty. I hope Your Majesty knows how to use this destiny to bring benefits to the people. But will the uniqueness of the lucky star be discovered by the other 3 countries? Your Majesty does not need to worry. It will not be discovered. Everything has been arranged by fate clearly. After seeing Grandmaster Lu off, Emperor Leon sat in deep thought for a long time, pondering every word of the Grandmaster. As for how to arrange Jigi, he already had a decision in his heart. The next day, after lunch, Eunuch Victor brought an imperial decree to the minister's manor. Eunuch Victor specifically called for Jigi to receive the decree. Jigi heard that she had to receive a decree and was stunned. What did I do? Why is there a decree for me? She recalled the events of the past few days. Apart from attending a palace banquet, she had done nothing. According to court rules, before receiving a decree, one must bathe and burn incense for purification. The maid Bella saw the second young miss standing in a daze and urged anxiously, "Miss, hurry and bathe. The eunuch is waiting outside." Jidi finally came to her senses and hurriedly prepared. By the time she finished applying makeup and styling her hair, half an hour had passed. As soon as he saw her come out, Eunuch Victor smiled brightly like a chrysanthemum. Second Miss Song has arrived, then received the decree. Everyone immediately knelt down. Eunuch Victor opened the decree and read aloud. Following the will of heaven, the emperor decrees. Hearing that the daughter of Minister Thomas, Jigi is talented and virtuous, worthy of being an example for women in the world. Specifically appointed as the 6th rank royal scribe. From tomorrow, follow your father to court. Do not refuse. The entire Song family was stunned after hearing the decree. Jigi did not know what position a royal scribe was, but the others in the family knew very well. Your Majesty, what does this mean? What position is a royal scribe? It is an official who records the words and actions of the emperor, including court sessions, handling state affairs, and discussing with officials. But Jigi is only 12 years old. Does Emperor Leon intend to let a little girl follow an old man to court every day? Everyone was so surprised that they forgot to give thanks. Eunuch Victor reminded them, "Little official song, hurry and receive the decree." Gigi still had not recovered. Why was she dragged into the life of an official like this? But the decree had been issued. She could only bow her head and say, "Your subject Gigi receives the decree." Eunuch Victor smiled brightly. "Congratulations, little official song." Minister Thomas hurriedly pulled Eunuch Victor aside and secretly stuffed an envelope into his hand. Eunuch Victor squeezed it gently, feeling the banknotes inside, and his smile became even brighter. Minister Thomas probed, "Eunuch, what does Emperor Leon mean? My Gigi is only 12 years old. How can she follow Emperor Leon to court every day to record his words?" Eunuch Victor smiled. "Minister Song worries too much. Emperor Leon instructed that little official Song only needs to record Emperor Leon's words when holding court and discussing state affairs with officials. Other matters need not be worried about." Minister Thomas breathed a sigh of relief and wiped the non-existent sweat from his forehead. "Then that is good, that is good." After Eunuch Victor left, Gigi said miserably to her father, "Father, please go ask Emperor Leon to withdraw the decree. I do not want to go to court. Gigi female officials in the palace usually stay in the harem. You are the only female in the court. This is truly strange." Minister Thomas sighed. "Gigi, Emperor Leon has issued the decree. It cannot be withdrawn. Just follow me to court. Just record the words of Emperor Leon and the ministers. It is not difficult. Father, the problem is not whether it is difficult or not. I am only 12 years old. I do not want to work. Father, I beg you, please ask Emperor Leon to withdraw it. What does Emperor Leon like about me? I will fix it. The decree has been issued. It is not up to you to decide." Minister Thomas looked at his playful daughter with a headache, waved his sleeves in annoyance, and walked away, leaving her standing there complaining to heaven and earth. Father left, but his mother not still here. Gigi went limp like she had no bones, leaning completely on Lady Nancy Song. Lady Nancy Song poked her daughter's forehead with her finger and scolded, "How old are you? You do not sit straight, you do not stand properly. Can you stand properly for a bit?" "Cannot, I like leaning on mother." Gigi acted spoiled and blinked, asking, "Mother, can you ask father to speak to Emperor Leon?" Before she could finish her sentence, she was interrupted by Lady Nancy Song. "Impossible. The decree has been issued. Even if the King of Heaven comes, you have to go to court. All right, tonight I will tell the kitchen to make the braised pork you like. How about that?" Gigi pouted. "Mother, I also want to eat sweet and sour carp. Is that okay?" "Okay. I will make it all for you tonight." Gigi knew that the decree had come down. No matter how unwilling she was, she had to obediently go to court. Only 12 years old. Why did she confusingly start the life of a working person? Gigi was depressed. Gigi was sad. What to do? She had to do it anyway. No matter what. Tonight Gigi still got her wish to eat her favorite braised pork and sweet and sour carp. After the meal, she returned to her room, went to the bed, kicked off her shoes, and lay down on her stomach. From under the pillow, she pulled out a book. On the cover were clearly written the words "The Scholar of Green District" and "The Beautiful Widow Stories That Must Be Told." Kwa looked at the book in its host's hand, and the corner of its eye could not help but twitch, but it still asked curiously, "Host, who did you ask to buy this book for you again?" "The nanny went out and bought it," Gigi replied and said excitedly. Kwa, let me tell you, this widow is very fierce." In one go she hooked the handsome scholar next door. When the scholar's soul was shaken, she turned around and walked away. Kwa gaped. Why did the scum woman walk away? The pants were already off, is that it? "Host, do you remember? Tomorrow morning at the 5th watch, you have to get up to go to court." "I know, let me read a bit more." Kwa said nothing more. In the room, only Gigi's voice echoed. "This widow is not okay at all. She keeps teasing but dares not act. Hey, if you like him, just rush at him. I am getting impatient watching her." Unknowingly, the night was late. Gigi did not know when she fell asleep. It felt like she had just closed her eyes for a moment when Bella's voice rang in her ear. "Miss, wake up. Miss, you cannot sleep anymore. Wake up quickly. Today you still have to go to court with the master." Gigi rolled over, turning her back to Bella, and mumbled, "Do not be noisy. Let me sleep a bit more. No, wake up quickly." Gigi only felt a buzzing in her ears and burrowed her head into the blanket. Bella called anxiously but to no avail. Then Minister Thomas's voice rang out from outside. "Gigi." Bella hurriedly ran out. "Master, the young miss is still not up." Minister Thomas glanced at the two nannies standing at the door and instructed, "Go in and help Bella. You must wake the young miss up." "Yes." Bella and the two nannies entered and pulled Gigi out of the blanket. Gigi still refused to open her eyes. The two nannies supported her to sit up straight. At this time, Bella began to change her clothes and comb her hair and apply makeup. Gigi's court uniform, delivered with the decree yesterday, was a bit wide. Fortunately, Lady Nancy's song had people adjusted overnight and now it fit. Gigi went out, supported on both sides by Bella and the two nannies, her eyes still closed. Minister Thomas looked at his daughter and sighed. "Gigi, wake up." Gigi still closed her eyes and mumbled, "Father, let me nap a bit more." Minister Thomas looked at his daughter like that, shook his head helplessly, and decisively threw her over his shoulder, turning to walk straight away. Suddenly lifted, Gigi woke up a little. But when she discovered her father was carrying her, she felt reassured and continued to close her eyes and sleep. Arriving in front of the carriage, Gigi was stuffed straight inside by her father. Minister Thomas got into the carriage. Afterward, Gigi found a comfortable position in the carriage and fell asleep. Occasionally she smacked her lips. Delicious, so delicious. Drool flowed down the corner of her mouth, seeming to feel something. Gigi raised her hand to wipe her mouth with her sleeve and continued to sleep. This scene was truly unbearable to look at directly. Minister Thomas tried to suppress the urge to kick his daughter out of the carriage and also closed his eyes to rest. If he looked twice more, he would definitely not be able to suppress his anger and explode. Why did he give birth to such an unreliable daughter? He and his wife were considered talented and beautiful. Their two sons were outstanding. Their eldest daughter was also a top-ranking noble lady in the capital. Yet only this youngest daughter had a stubborn and unruly appearance. The child was already 12 years old. A few more years and she would reach marriageable age. But with this appearance, could she be married off in the future? Just thinking about it gave him a headache. The carriage swayed slowly forward. In that swaying, Gigi slept even deeper. Not knowing how long had passed, the carriage finally stopped. As soon as the carriage stopped, the servant outside respectfully reported, "Master, we have arrived." Minister Thomas reached out and gently pushed his daughter. "Gigi, wake up, we have arrived." Gigi was sleepy. She heard her father's call but did not bother to react, just closing her eyes tight. She put on an appearance that no matter how much he called, she would not wake up. Minister Thomas shook his head helplessly. He had to step out of the carriage first, then reached out and threw his daughter over his shoulder. The carriage was parked a distance from the palace gate. They needed to walk in. He could wake the child up when they reached the palace gate. Beside them, a few carriages also stopped one by one. The ministers stepped out of their carriages. Seeing Minister Thomas carrying his daughter on his shoulder, everyone shook their heads, not knowing what to say. The news that Gigi was appointed by Emperor Leon as a sixth-rank royal scribe had long spread throughout the capital. A woman being able to enter the court, Gigi was the first. Some admired her, some were jealous, but everyone understood that Emperor Leon must have appointed her because she had some special ability. It was this child too lazy? A 12-year-old lady being carried by her father like this was truly undignified. Among the crowd was an official named Minister Norman Yan, holding the position of Minister of Rights. At the last meeting, due to feeling unwell, he did not participate, nor did he know anything about Gigi's special ability. Moreover, Emperor Leon had ordered a ban on revealing the content of that meeting, so Gigi could not know that everyone could hear her thoughts. Therefore, although everyone was curious, no one dared to discuss the events of that day. Originally, Minister Norman Yan had long disliked Minister Thomas. Not knowing the situation, he only knew that the daughter of Minister Thomas, Gigi, had been appointed as a sixth-rank royal scribe. This made him extremely indignant. A new top scholar still had to start as a ninth-rank district magistrate. Why was a useless girl appointed as a sixth-rank official? The more he thought about it, the more unwilling he felt. In Minister Norman's heart, anger burned. He secretly cursed Minister Thomas for having luck fall from the sky and even secretly scolded Emperor Leon for being confused. Seeing Minister Thomas carrying that useless girl on his shoulder just now, he immediately walked over quickly, his tone sarcastic. "Minister Song, your family truly met luck bestowed by heaven. I heard your daughter was appointed as a sixth-rank royal scribe. Since she is an official, she should look like an official, right? Look at you, carrying a little official song on your shoulder. Is this dignified?" Minister Norman sneered and continued to mock. "Let me tell you, loving your child is not wrong, but there must be limits. You cannot spoil her too much. Children should still be taught strictly from a young age. Is there any family where a daughter is 12 years old and still lets her father carry her on his shoulder like that? If this spreads, who will dare to take her as a wife?" Pausing for a moment, Minister Norman added fuel to the fire. "If this child is so lazy, it proves that the rod was not enough. People say a filial child comes from the rod. A new top scholar still has to suffer through studying, let alone such a useless girl. Minister Song, do you think you should discipline her more strictly?" As soon as he finished speaking, Gigi suddenly opened her eyes wide, light flashing in her pupils. "Hey father, put me down." Actually, when she got off the carriage, Gigi had already woken up early. It was just that she was too lazy to walk, and coincidentally her father wanted to carry her, so that was great. Originally, her mood was comfortable. Unexpectedly, someone who did not know how to keep their mouth shut popped out. Opening with sarcastic words, he even dared to say she could not get married. Married or not, she did not care. But daring to incite her father to beat her. This matter could not be ignored. Minister Thomas was about to argue with Minister Norman when he heard his daughter's voice. He hurriedly stopped and put her down. "Gigi, you are awake." "Yes, I am awake." Gigi leisurely stretched and turned to look at Minister Norman, a hint of slyness flashing in her smile. "This official. What did you eat this morning?" Minister Norman was asked unexpectedly but still replied. "Ate porridge." Gigi nodded slightly, her face calm. "No wonder. It seems that after eating porridge, you ate quite a lot of salted radishes, right? No wonder you are jealous. It turns out it is because you ate too many radishes, so you need to relieve the saltiness." Minister Norman's face turned red with anger. You bold. You impudent, you what you. I am impudent 5, impudent 7 here. Truly eating your own family's rice but worrying about the world's affairs. Are you not afraid of worrying too much and dying of anger? You dare curse me to die. Did I name anyone? These days I hear people compete for money, compete for merit, compete for fame. But this is the first time I have seen someone compete to die. Impudent little girl, you dare speak to me like that. You old fossil, why are you pretending here? Others fear you, I do not. Whether I am lazy or not, what does it have to do with you? And inciting my father to beat me. Do you think your face is big? A busybody is despicable. The observing officials grew in number. They did not expect the youngest daughter of the Song family to have such a sharp tongue. Even Minister Norman did not expect a brat to dare curse him straight to his face. Even her father, Minister Thomas, did not dare point at his face and curse. Yet this child dared. He could not argue back. Minister Norman turned to scold her father. "Minister Song, how do you teach your daughter? Letting a brat point straight at an elder's face and scold like this." Minister Thomas glanced at him and replied calmly, "My daughter is not wrong, a busybody is despicable. You people." Gigi looked at the fool in front of her and said coldly, "Whose elder are you? Do not think just because you are old you can be everyone's elder. Do you really think you are big?" As she spoke, she even made a gesture of calculating with her fingers. Minister Norman tremblingly raised his hand to point at her, too angry to utter a word. The officials present were stunned. They had debated fiercely, but no matter how angry they were, they still had to maintain face, only implying a few sentences. Never had anyone dared to scold straight to the face like Gigi, and every word did not have a single vulgarity. Gigi looked at his appearance of being about to faint from anger and turned to her father. "Father, let us go quickly. He might roll on the ground and throw a tantrum later, accusing us of making him faint from anger. What if he demands money then? I just started working the first day and have not received my salary yet." Minister Thomas chimed in. "Yes, looking at this appearance it seems he is prepared to lie down. Gigi, let us go. Being involved with money cannot be careless. We cannot let people accuse us." Hearing this, Gigi walked away. Minister Thomas also quickly followed. The surrounding officials gaped. They did not expect there was such a way to mock others. Little official Song is truly sharp tongue. I have never seen Minister Norman angry to the point of almost fainting. But just hearing her last sentence, he struggled to endure and not faint. Everyone simultaneously turned to look at Minister Norman with pitying eyes. Some even patted his shoulder, shaking their heads to signal him to pray for himself. Then they also passed him one by one, heading towards the palace gate. Through this incident, everyone could see that Gigi was someone who sought revenge for grievances. Provoking her. I am afraid one would be exposed down to their underwear. But official Yan had no eyes, daring to touch this ancestor. But perhaps there would be many interesting things to watch in the future. The incident at the palace gate quickly reached Emperor Leon's ears. Hearing it, Emperor Leon laughed heartily and said, "Those old men always like to oppose me, always making me angry to death, yet I cannot do anything to them. Now it is good. With this tough girl, do they know the taste yet? With this child, the court and the capital will definitely have many interesting stories in the future. Hey, send 4 guards to protect that girl. Do not let anyone play tricks to harm her." Gigi and Minister Thomas walked very fast, as if afraid of being accused. Along the way, many people stared at them, their eyes lingering on Gigi significantly longer. She had discovered that long ago. But having experienced so many things in her previous life, such gazes were not worth bothering about. If they like to look, let them look. Losing no flesh. Arriving at the Hall of Supreme Harmony, a eunuch saw Gigi and immediately stepped forward. Little official song, this servant has been waiting for you for a long time. This servant will take you to meet official Jang. Minister Thomas nodded to signal his daughter. Jiggy immediately followed the eunuch. She guessed immediately that official Jang was her direct superior. This person was over 50 years old, with a gentle face, a long beard, and dressed in a scholarly style. Seeing him, Jiggy immediately felt a natural respect. Hurry and greet him. Respectful greetings to official Jang. Official Jang observed the little girl in front of him and asked slowly, "You are the daughter of Minister Thomas?" "Yes, Gigi." "Good. A clever little girl. Come here, I will tell you your work." After instructing Gigi on her duties, official Jang was still a bit uneasy, mainly because this girl looked too young. If she did not do well, being punished was fine, but if Emperor Leon was unhappy, it would be hard to keep her head. Therefore, he said today was the first day of taking office. You just stand aside and observe how I record. From tomorrow, you will have to do it yourself. Yes. Jiggy knew official Jang meant well, so she replied humbly. Just then a shout rang out, "The emperor arrives." All the officials knelt down and shouted in unison. Gigi also hurriedly knelt down. "Rise." As soon as the ministers stood up, Minister Norman stepped out of the line. "Your Majesty, your subject has words to report. A woman entering the court is truly not in accordance with etiquette. From ancient times to now, there has never been a precedent." Minister Norman completely held a grudge against Gigi. He had never been scolded by anyone in front of so many people, let alone being pointed at and scolded straight to his face by a brat. This was truly a humiliation he could not swallow. Therefore, as soon as the court started, he immediately made things difficult. Hearing Minister Norman speak, Gigi secretly cursed in her heart. Just starting court and this old fossil has jumped out, like a mad dog, biting and not letting go. I have not even sought him out to cause trouble, yet he offers himself at the door. Is living not good? Why keep seeking death? Since he wants to die, I do not mind sending him on his way. At this moment, a voice rang in her head. "Host, this old fossil keeps jumping around like a mad dog. Deal with him." "Quack, who is he anyway? I do not even know who he is. Yet he is biting me tight and not letting go." The nearby ministers heard the dialogue between Gigi and Quack clearly. Those who had heard this voice before were used to her unrestrained way of speaking, so they immediately became alert. No one told anyone, but they all pricked up their ears to listen. Some thought secretly, "Old Norman is seeking death. Provoking anyone is fine, but provoking that girl, this time he will surely be stripped clean." Some people heard Gigi and Quaqua's voice for the first time and were extremely curious. Who is so bold, daring to cause trouble in court? But seeing Emperor Leon and the surrounding ministers still acting as if nothing happened, they began to doubt if they had heard wrong. Clearly, the court only had one female, which was Gigi. But just now she basically did not open her mouth. Could that be her inner voice? Thinking of this, everyone's eyes simultaneously turned towards Gigi. Minister Norman also heard the dialogue just now and was so angry he almost vomited blood. Clearly, that damned brat was chatting with someone named Quaqua. Old fossil on the left, old fossil on the right. He did not know what old fossil meant, but it was definitely not a good word. He had observed the girl carefully just now. Clearly, she did not open her mouth at all. So what on earth was this? Could it be an inner voice? Minister Norman immediately raised his head and stared at Gigi. Emperor Leon also pricked up his ears to listen. He also wanted to see what kind of demons and ghosts his subjects were. The dialogue continued. "Host, this old fossil is named Norman. There is nothing strange. He and your father are both fourth-rank officials, but he always opposes your father. Finding a way to cause trouble at the palace gate today was just out of jealousy. Quack. This guy truly knows no shame. Jealous of what? If he wants to blame someone, blame himself for not giving birth to an outstanding child like me. It is best to check if there is a problem with his genes." Correct. Although the ministers did not understand what genes were, this time everyone saw clearly. Gigi truly never opened her mouth. Thus the words just now were her inner voice. Minister Thomas was so embarrassed he wanted to dig a hole to hide in. "This damned brat, whose daughter speaks so rudely, if outsiders hear, they will think my wife and I teach our child like this daily and doubt the Song family's upbringing." In her previous life, Gigi was a military doctor, in contact with rough soldiers all day. What kind of language had she not heard? Yet today she was still keeping her mouth shut quite a bit. Under Emperor Leon's tacit agreement, the ministers also understood that Emperor Leon did not want Gigi to know this truth. They could hear her inner voice. Therefore, now in the court, the officials discussed whether to hold court while pricking up their ears to listen if little official song revealed any earth-shattering news. Indeed, she did not disappoint everyone. Next, they only heard Gigi ask Quaqua, "Are there any rumors about this old fossil? Tell me a bit for fun. I have thought it through. Once I know his secret, I will write it into a story and sell it to traveling storytellers so the whole capital knows. Hearing this, the ministers could not help but take a cold breath. This brat is truly poisonous, leaving no way for Minister Norman to live. Some people really did not expect that this old fossil was a man who liked to dress as a woman. Quaqua, what did you say? Cross-dressing. Is there really such a stimulating story? Before Quaqua could speak, Jigi raised her head and glanced at Norman, then looked down. Her inner voice rang out again. Oh my, I just looked at Norman. He looks like a man, not effeminate at all. Tisk, truly knowing the person in the face but not the heart. Quawa, hurry and tell me. Everyone did not understand what cross-dressing meant, but just hearing Gigi's excited tone, they knew for sure this must be shocking news. Everyone pricked up their ears, waiting for Quaqua to explain. As soon as Minister Norman heard the word cross-dressing, his body stiffened immediately. Such a secret, even his confidants and wife did not know. How could an outsider know? Thinking of this, Norman felt somewhat reassured, just listening to Quaqua recount. Norman's parents gave birth to 8 daughters in a row before finally giving birth to him. At that time, Norman's father and mother were overjoyed, naming him Golden Treasure Yan. Golden Treasure Yan grew up in the arms of 8 sisters since childhood, and due to daily contact, his behavior and gestures were somewhat feminine. He liked women's beautiful clothes, liked hairpins, liked lipstick and powder, and liked playing with his sisters. When he turned 6, Norman's parents took him to school. But because he was too effeminate, no classmates wanted to play with him, and they even gave him the nickname Fake Eunuch. Once, because of being teased, Golden Treasure Yen fought with a classmate, causing the opponent to be seriously injured and hospitalized. Only when his parents found out did they realize the serious problem. From then on, they ordered a ban on him playing with his sisters, and he was also not allowed to like women's things anymore. To make him more masculine, they changed his name to Norman. At first, he resisted, but after being beaten a few times he dared not oppose anymore. Gigi continued. But looking at the way he clings to me and won't let go, I do not think he gave up so easily. Indeed, the truth is exactly as the host guessed. Outwardly Norman seemed to have submitted, but inside he still loved those things. He hid it very well. Even his parents did not discover it. When he passed the exam and became an official with his own residence, he secretly built a secret room in the study. Inside, it was filled with things he had collected over the years, from lipstick and powder, silk clothes, embroidered shoes to even women's period belts. Every night after dinner he used the excuse of handling official business, but actually went into the secret room to put on women's clothes. Applying lipstick and powder, admiring himself for a long time before reluctantly removing the makeup to return to the appearance of a man. Ah, this pervert even collects period belts. The host has not even used that thing. If I had used it, I would have wanted to smash his dog head. Hearing this, everyone's eyes looking at Norman changed completely. So this is the meaning of cross-dressing. Norman's face turned red. He just wanted to rush over and cover Gigi's mouth. But he did not think about the fact that she basically did not open her mouth to speak. He could not let her discover this secret. The officials in front immediately crowded together to block his path. 2 officials beside him pressed close, holding his arms tight, preventing him from rushing out. Seeing Emperor Leon's warning gaze, Norman had to grit his teeth and stand still. At this moment he only had one thought. He truly regretted it. Why did he provoke this disaster child? Jigi continued to ask, does his wife know about this secret room? She does not know, he does it very secretly. Even his confidants do not know. Host Norman also has a strange hobby, guess what it is? I cannot guess. Say it straight. Quaqua, leaving people hanging halfway through gossip will get you struck by lightning. Norman had a bad premonition, but he could not move, nor did he dare make a sound. If he spoke up, Emperor Leon would definitely not spare him and his end would be extremely miserable. Indeed, the next second, Quaqua's voice rang out again. Fine, I will say it straight. When he is with his wife and concubines, Norman likes to wear women's clothes and forces them to wear men's clothes, then step on him. What? So stimulating. Quaqua. Is there a video? I want to see. Host, my level is not high enough. Wait until I level up, you can watch anytime. So when will you level up? This I do not know either. Could be tomorrow. Could be the day after, could also be a year later. Huh. Is leveling up so random? At this moment, the officials all looked at Norman with extremely wonderful eyes. Norman tremblingly raised his hand but could not utter a word. He just spat out a mouthful of blood and fainted. Gigi was startled by this sudden event. Quaqua, what just happened? I do not know either. But just now I saw that old fossil vomiting blood, and the blood spray was too exaggerated, even stronger than a high-pressure nozzle. Right. His hands were shaking badly just now. Could it be epilepsy? Epilepsy involves foaming at the mouth and convulsions, but the old fossil does not seem to have those symptoms. Is that so? I am standing too far to see clearly. I really want to get closer to check. At this moment, the imperial physician had arrived. The great hall was in chaos. Yet Gigi and Quaqua, the two culprits who caused this, were calmly discussing Norman's blood-spitting posture, the amount of blood sprayed, and epilepsy symptoms. The officials glanced at Gigi with complex looks, then silently looked away. This brat is truly terrifying. On the first day of court, she already took down a high official. Meanwhile, Gigi's thoughts continued. Quaqua, the old fossil, has not woken up for so long. Could he be dead for real? Host, he is still breathing. I thought he was stiff dead. Quaqua, when we get home, I will record the story of the old fossil being a cross-dressing boss and sell it to the storyteller. Such a shocking story will definitely fill the tea house. Let me think. I cannot sell it off at once. Splitting the percentage will earn money for a long time. Just thinking about this, Gigi saw stacks of white silver calling to her. Just then, Norman vaguely woke up. He immediately heard Giga discussing using his secret to make money. Before he could catch his breath, he fainted again. The officials also heard Gigi's plan to earn money, and everyone shivered. If one day we accidentally offend little official Song, our secrets will be written down to make money too. By then, won't we be the talk of the world? Thinking of this, everyone felt a chill down their spines. It seems we must make good friends with Minister Thomas. Tell him to control his daughter tightly. If this girl lacks money, we can contribute a little. But absolutely cannot let her take our secrets to sell. Everyone looked at Minister Norman fainting again and could not help but reveal sympathetic eyes. Emperor Leon looked at Gigi with complex eyes, then ordered someone to carry Minister Yan out. The morning court continued. Gigi also stopped gossiping with Quaqua and obediently sat observing official Jiang recording. She could not help but be serious because tomorrow she would have to record everything herself, with no one to help. Today was no different from a modern company. The senior guides for one day, and the next day you have to do it all yourself. As soon as court ended, Emperor Leon left. Gigi immediately rushed to Minister Thomas. Father, let us go home quickly. I am starving to death. Okay, let us go. Father, should we go to a restaurant to eat? No need. Rice and water must be ready at home. We can eat as soon as we return. All right, father. Looking at the backs of the father and daughter, everyone around had their own calculations in their hearts. As soon as she returned to the manor, the first thing Gigi did was change out of her official uniform immediately, then rushed straight to the dining room. Indeed, the food was already set. Except for her second brother Harry, who went to the military camp, everyone else was present. Gigi sat down, picked up a bowl, and ate deliciously. Lady Nancy Song watched her little daughter eating and drinking and hurriedly reminded. Eat slowly. No one is fighting with you. Gigi stuffed a mouthful of rice, swallowed, and complained. Mother, Emperor Leon is truly strange. The rule is to hold court at the 5th watch. I just napped a little when Bella called me up. This is waking up even earlier than chickens. Correct. The 5th watch in modern time is about 3 to 5 in the morning. That means one must be present at the Hall of Supreme Harmony by 3 in the morning to attend court. So one must wake up at least 2 hours before that. Today Bella called Gigi up at 1 in the morning. After finishing writing the memorial, she got in the carriage to the palace gate. After the carriage stopped, she had to walk another 40 minutes to reach the Hall of Supreme Harmony. It was truly tiring to death. Whose chicken crows at 1 in the morning? Am I not waking up earlier than chickens? Lady Nancy Song heard this and scolded. This child speaks without keeping her mouth shut. What nonsense are you saying? Gigi was unconvinced. Lady Nancy Song glared. You still dare to speak? If someone hears, who knows what trouble it will cause? Gigi also realized she had misspoken a bit, so she replied. I know. After saying that, she lowered her head to continue eating rice. The sky is wide, the earth is large, eating rice is the biggest. After eating, Gigi said. Father, mother, big brother, big sister, I slept late last night. Now I am going back to catch up on sleep. Minister Thomas waved his hand. Go. After Quincy and Linda also left one by one, Lady Nancy Song turned to ask Minister Thomas. Today was Gigi's first day at court. She did not cause any trouble, right? Hearing this, Minister Thomas sighed and recounted what happened in the morning court. Finally, he said, Minister Norman was carried out of the Great Hall. I do not know how he is now. Lady Nancy Song heard this and looked disdainful. That Minister Norman is truly shameless. He is so old yet still bullies our Gigi. The child is only 12 years old, truly knows no shame. Getting angry to the point of illness serves him right. Truly serves him right. From now on, stay away from that Minister Norman. He is truly disgusting, secretly keeping women's things, even collecting them from generation to generation. Truly a pervert, I know. This time our Gigi pushed Minister Norman into a pit. I guess he will not dare show his face anymore in the future. Serves him right. Who told him to stick to Gigi and not let go? Minister Thomas sighed again, worriedly saying, Wife, if this continues, will we offend all the court officials? Lady Nancy Song was also full of worry. I am worried about this too, but there is no other way. We cannot always remind Gigi. Moreover, everyone has their own thoughts. Who can control what is in another person's heart? Saying so is saying so, but sigh, forget it. Just take it step by step. Other families' daughters are the little cotton jackets of parents. Our family, Gigi, is a tattered cotton jacket leaking wind, an expert at causing trouble for parents. Contrary to the sighs of Minister Thomas and Lady Nancy Song, over here Gigi had fallen asleep at some point. In her dream she saw her previous life again, working part-time while studying. The scene changed. She saw herself rushing through a rain of bombs and bullets to save people. Everywhere were wounded soldiers, severed bodies and blood. Gigi woke up abruptly. Cold sweat breaking out on her forehead. She wiped the sweat, looked around, trying to calm down. She had encountered dreams like this countless times. Each time it was those terrifying scenes. Each time she was woken up by them. Gigi asked Kwakwa, "What time is it now?" The system reported, "Currently it is 10 in the morning. Just slept a nap and it is already 10. Correct, host. Do ancients not sleep early and wake early? I know." Gigi called out. Bella. Hearing the call, Bella immediately pushed the door open and entered. "Miss, you are awake. Prepare bath water for me. I am sweating all over." Bella left. Only then did Gigi slowly sit up, leaning against the headboard. Half an hour later, she finished bathing and changed into a long light yellow dress. Green irises were embroidered on the dress, looking gentle and elegant. With braids on both sides, her whole person looked both mischievous and clever. Host, dressing so beautifully. Do you intend to go out? I want to go out for a stroll. Host, will your parents agree? Probably no problem. I am an official now. Can parents keep locking me at home? Then host, do your best. While chatting with Kwakwa, Gigi walked towards Lady Nancy Song's courtyard. Before she even arrived, Gigi's inner voice arrived first. Kwakwa, tell me, what is my mother doing now? Could she be with my father? He, host, what are you thinking? In broad daylight like this. The ancients had a saying, do not speak nonsense during the day. Is that so? So I thought too much. Lady Nancy Song took a deep breath, truly wanting to peel open this little daughter's head to see what she was thinking inside. A little girl thinking about nonsense all day, and now daring to gossip about her parents. Truly respecting no one. Just stepping into the room, Gigi flatteringly called out, "Mother." Lady Nancy Song did not bother looking up, her eyes still glued to the account book, only responding indifferently. Gigi went behind her back and started massaging her shoulders. Mother works hard for the family. Let me massage your shoulders. If one did not hear her inner voice, everyone would think this was a gentle, sensible girl. But just hearing her true thoughts, the image instantly shattered into 100 pieces. Lady Nancy Song said nothing, just letting her massage her shoulders. Gigi was still waiting for her mother to ask. Usually, as long as she showed a little filial piety, her mother would definitely guess immediately that she had something to ask. But why was she so silent today? Not right. This script is not right. If the mountain does not come to me, I will go to the mountain. So she sweetly called again. Mother. Lady Nancy Song put down the account book and said coldly, "If you have something to say, say it. Do not keep calling mother like that. If I do not call mother, what do I call you? Should I call you old mother?" Originally, her anger had not subsided. Hearing this sentence, Lady Nancy Song immediately grabbed the book in her hand and threw it straight at her daughter. Gigi saw the situation was not good and hurriedly dodged a step, avoiding the attack. The book fell to the ground with a thud. She patted her chest in relief. "Oh my, luckily I dodged in time, or I would have been hit." Before she could finish her sentence, she heard an angry shout. Gigi was very good at reading facial expressions. She immediately understood that her mother was truly angry. She quickly ran to pick up the book, dusted it off, and carefully placed it back on the table, her voice sweet as sugar cane. "Mother, what is wrong with you? Do not be angry anymore." Who had no eyes to provoke mother to anger? Tell me, I will go beat that person for mother. Could Lady Nancy Song say that this very child was the one with no eyes provoking her? Looking at her appearance of indignation, ready to stand up for her mother, she only felt tired and waved her hand. "Speak. Coming to my courtyard, what is the matter?" Gigi clung to her sleeve, shaking it. "Mother, I have grown this big but have never left the manor once. Now I am also an official, yet I still do not know what the capital looks like. I want to go out for a stroll." Lady Nancy Song thought for a moment and instructed, "Go to the accounting room and take 50 taels of silver. Buy whatever you like. Let your eldest sister go with you." Remember to bring many guards. Gigi was bewildered. She did not expect her mother to agree so easily this time. Before, no matter how much she rolled around and threw tantrums, her parents would not agree. Why was it so easy this time? But whatever. The result was important. She happily hugged and kissed her mother on the cheek. Mother is the best. I love mother the most. Before Lady Nancy Song could react, the person had run away. Lady Nancy Song touched her cheek, involuntarily smiling. This child. Actually, she understood. Her daughter's secret could no longer be hidden. Keeping the child locked in the manor forever was not a solution. Moreover, she frequently went to court, exposing the secrets of the officials at every turn. The couple basically could not stop it. Now that things had come to this point, there was no need to restrict the child forever. Like she said, she was already 12 years old, but had not seen what the capital looked like. Remembering the child's pitiful appearance just now, she laughed again. Lady Song also felt sorry. Fine then. A blessing is not a curse, but a curse cannot be avoided. Gigi ran like flying, as if carrying lightning, straight to Linda's courtyard. Big sister, mother agreed to let me go out. Really? I just came from mother's place to find you. But mother wants you to go with me and also instructed us to go to the steward's room to get 50 towels of silver, buy a few things we like, and then return. Okay, wait for me a moment. I will arrange things and we will go immediately. Yes. Looking at her younger sister's excited appearance, Linda hurriedly packed up the embroidery she was working on and said, "Dawn." The two went out the manor gate. The carriage was waiting in front. Getting into the carriage, Gigi asked excitedly, "Big sister, where are we going?" "Shall I take you to see clothes and jewelry, then stop by a restaurant for a meal?" The whole capital was strange to Gigi, so anywhere was fine. The carriage rolled. Gigi lifted the curtain to look outside. A familiar voice rang in her heart. "Qua qua, is this the ancient street, correct host? Where you live is the area for officials, full of nobles and royalty, sparsely populated, and the streets are very clean. Wait until the bustling market area. That place is truly lively. Qua qua, ancient architecture is truly exquisite, but I do not know what words to use to describe it. How does that phrase on the internet go? Ah, right, regretting my lack of culture, one phrase holy cow travels the world. Host, if you want to swear, just say it straight. Do not make excuses. A scholar like you, continuously studying for a master's and doctorate, how can you be poor in vocabulary? Fine then, caught by you. But a hero does not mention past years. The previous life is over. In this life, I just want to eat and lie down, becoming a useless salted fish, a person specializing in gossip of the world. Host, when you become a salted fish, remember to take me along. I also want to take the opportunity to collect some energy. Don't worry, I won't forget you. Linda heard her sister's inner voice. It turns out in her previous life her sister was a scholar. Is a scholar a master of studying? Does that mean very good? And what is continuous master's and doctorate? Could it be like a talent and a graduate in this era? Truly worthy of being a talented girl. Linda had guessed 70 to 80% of the meaning of the dialogue between her sister and Qua Qua. The carriage left the official area. There were more pedestrians. The further they went, the busier the streets became. In front of a large fabric shop, the carriage stopped. "Miss, we have arrived." Linda turned to Gigi. "We are here, let us get off." "Yes, big sister." The two sisters walked inside. Gigi also wanted to admire what an ancient clothing shop looked like. A beautiful young girl stepped forward. "Do the two young misses want to see fabric or ready-made clothes?" Linda glanced at her sister, seeing she had no opinion, said, "We will see fabric first, then ready-made clothes later."
Yes.
The ground floor is fabric, the upper floor is ready-made clothes. You two please choose freely. If you need anything, just call me. Linda nodded slightly. The shop assistant went to serve other customers. Gigi looked around and could not help but say to Qua Qua, "Qua Qua, there is truly a lot of fabric here and the shop assistant serves well too." Host, this is the largest clothing shop in the capital. There are more than 100 types of fabric on the first floor. The ready-made clothes on the second floor are also very rich. Moreover, the shop assistants here are all professionally trained before being hired. Qua Qua, I did not expect the owner of this shop to really know how to do business. Leaving aside the fabric, just the service attitude shows professionalism. At this moment, Linda turned to ask, "Do you like any type?" Gigi shook her head. "Big sister, let me look a bit more." After looking at all the fabric on the first floor, the two went upstairs. After admiring all the clothes, Gigi thought to herself, "Qua Qua, it looks like a lot, but actually, there are only about a dozen styles. It is just that each style is sewn in many different colors and hung up looking rich like that." Qua Qua realized it too. Finally, Linda chose 2 bolts of fabric to buy. Leaving the clothing shop, the two went to a jewelry shop. Linda spotted a hairpin and picked it up to admire. The shop owner introduced. Miss truly has sharp eyes. This hairpin is called the begonia jade step shake. Begonia is the most brilliant flower with fresh colors. This hairpin is green and shiny all over, shaped like a begonia. So it is called begonia jade, not shake. Look, there are 12 gemstones inlaid on this hairpin, mainly 3 colors: red, blue, and purple. Each gemstone shines brilliantly with distinct nuances. The body of the hairpin is carved with begonia flower patterns, exquisitely beautiful, vivid as if real. The entire hairpin is embellished with begonia-colored gemstones, sparkling radiantly, beautiful enough to steal souls. Miss, this hairpin suits you very well. Before Linda could open her mouth, a voice rang out from the door. I will take this hairpin. Jiggy heard this and turned her head to see a woman in a light red long dress, with delicate and beautiful features, walking in. Seeing the person arriving, Linda's face immediately changed. Fiona, wrong? Do not be too excessive. Clearly, we looked at this thing first. The woman approached, glanced at Jiggy, then looked at Linda, sneering. Have you paid yet? If you have not paid, then this thing does not belong to you yet. Gigi could not help but ask in her heart. Kwa, who is this woman? Why is she so arrogant? Behind her, a few young girls of the same age walked in. Among them, a few saw Jiggy and their eyes wavered slightly, but they still politely greeted. Greetings to Little Official Song. The others also bowed in unison. Little Official Song, hello. Jiggy nodded slightly. Hello to you all? Among these, she had only met a few at the banquet a few days ago, who were the first young girls to bow. Fiona Wrong glanced at Gigi again, seeing nothing special about her, continued to turn to the shop owner. Owner, I will take this hairpin. Wrap it up for me. At this moment, Kwa's voice rang in her mind. Host. The woman wearing light red clothes is Fiona, the second daughter of Censor Peter Wrong. Her father and your father have the same rank, both fourth-rank officials. Jiggy paused slightly, unable to help asking in her heart. Kwa, why is a daughter of a concubine so arrogant? Although she did not intend to look down on daughters of concubines, in this feudal society with clear hierarchy, there was still a clear difference between legitimate and illegitimate daughters. Moreover, Fiona's father and her father had the same rank, and she was only a daughter of a concubine. Logically speaking, when meeting her eldest sister, she also had to bow. But what was the reality? Not only did she not bow, but she also blatantly snatched things in front of them. Who did she rely on to be so arrogant? The young girls accompanying Fiona had heard about Little Official Song before. They knew she was appointed as an official unlike others, but exactly how different, no one said clearly. Meeting today, they silently observed her. As soon as Gigi's voice rang in Kwa's mind, they clearly saw she did not open her mouth, but the words still rang in their ears. Could this be the difference of Little Official Song? Just then, Kwa explained further. Peter Wrong's legitimate daughter Mimi Wrong married Prince Tristan as a secondary consort and is very favored. Jiggy was confused. Does that mean the legitimate and the legitimate daughters of the Wrong family have a good relationship? Host, you are wrong about this. The legitimate and illegitimate daughters of the Wrong family are discordant like water and fire, one could even say like enemies. The reason Fiona can be so arrogant is that she has long had an affair with Prince Tristan, her own sister's husband. Things that should be done or should not be done, they have done them all. Prince Tristan promised that soon he would lift her into the prince's manor. Fiona feels she is already Prince Tristan's person, so she is even more arrogant and bullies people. Gigi was shocked. This matter, a pure and dignified young lady not liking anyone else, but colluding with her own sister's husband. She looked at Fiona with disbelief, then suddenly asked Kwa. Fiona likes to snatch things so much it must be a habit, right? Snatching her brother-in-law, snatching hairpins. What we know is probably just a part. How many other things has she snatched that we do not know? She rested her chin on her hand and thought, suddenly coming up with a strange idea. Kwa, if I say the pile of dog poop on the ground smells good, would she want to snatch it to try eating? Host, this Kwa does not know either. Should I try? Host, that is not good. Things with such a smell we should still stay away from. Think about it. If Fiona really eats it, wouldn't you feel disgusted? Also true. I would probably vomit up last night's dinner. So that is right, host. Then we better not try. Jiggy nodded seriously. Fine then. Those who heard Jiggy chatting with Kwa all gaped in surprise. Fiona was secretly with Prince Tristan. This news was truly shocking. Also, this Little Official Song is truly interesting, even wanting to test if Fiona would snatch dog poop to eat. Thinking of the scene of Fiona eating dog poop, they hurriedly covered their mouths, almost retching. This scene was truly too realistic. Fiona could not hear Gigi's thoughts, but seeing the girls around suddenly retching, she could not help but feel strange. Fiona frowned uncomfortably and asked, "What is wrong with you guys?" Those girls replied in unison, "Nothing. The madam's young missus, And young masters who had met Gigi before, hearing the news that she appeared at the jewelry shop, immediately ran over, hoping to catch some hot gossip. They loved gossip very much. As long as it was not their own gossip, they wanted to catch any story. Not knowing since when, the jewelry shop was crowded to the point water could not leak through. Those who just entered pretended to choose jewelry, but actually, everyone pricked up their ears to listen, afraid of missing any details. Gigi completely did not realize the jewelry shop was much more crowded, continuing to ask Kwa Kwa. Kwa Kwa, does Mimi Rong know about Fiona and Prince Tristan's affair? Fiona's mother knows, but others do not. Is it her mother's idea correct? It was that concubine who proposed the plan. Thinking of Prince Tristan's handsome appearance, Fiona agreed immediately. Then, the mother and daughter planned how to accidentally meet Prince Tristan. Persistence pays off. Finally, Fiona found a few opportunities to accidentally meet Prince Tristan. One person intended to seduce, one person was moved by beauty, so those two quickly got involved with each other. Fiona wants to get pregnant with Prince Tristan's child before he wakes up. Today she went out to go to the medical hall to find medicine to help with conception. Unexpectedly, the medical hall really had that medicine. The doctor told her that as long as she took this medicine, then rolled in bed with Prince Tristan a few times, the chance of pregnancy would be higher. Host? Actually, that medicine is basically not a conception support medicine at all. What? Gigi said excitedly. Impossible. How can a medical hall sell this kind of medicine to customers? What if in one night a dozen times, wouldn't Prince Tristan be squeezed to death? Kwakwa continued. Fiona did not go to a legitimate medical hall. That place sells as long as there is money, regardless of the consequences. This time that doctor earned a few thousand taels of silver, but fearing trouble, he packed up and ran away early. Whether Prince Tristan encounters trouble or not depends on how much dosage Fiona uses. Kwakwa, does Fiona not want to live anymore? Daring to use this thing on Prince Tristan. If unfortunately Prince Tristan really dies, I am afraid 9 generations of the wrong family will be buried with him. Killing a prince is no joke. Hearing Gigi's thoughts, everyone's eyes looking towards Fiona immediately changed. Not a few people hurriedly stepped back a few paces from her. Seeking death herself was not enough. She wanted to drag the whole family to die with her. Fiona is truly crazy. Gigi continued to ask Kwa, what is the position of censor? Host, as far as I know, this position is responsible for submitting memorials to the emperor, giving opinions and suggestions to correct mistakes in court affairs. Oh, so Peter is a loyal official. If he is a loyal official, should we remind him? We cannot let this crazy Fiona implicate the whole wrong family. Host, Peter is indeed a loyal official. Understood. Let me think of a way to send news to the wrong family. Host, you can also remind Prince Tristan. Kwakwa, in Prince Tristan's eyes I am nothing. If he asks how I know about Fiona's matter, how should I explain? I might even bring trouble to myself. Kwakwa. I want to help others, but the prerequisite is to protect myself. I cannot push myself to death to save people. The host speaks very correctly. Safety first. Gigi raised her head and saw the crazy Fiona still bullying her big sister. She walked quickly, pulled Linda strongly behind her, then looked coldly at Fiona, asking sternly, "Where did you crazy person come from? Why do you always like snatching other people's things?" Fiona was so angry her face turned red, since her legitimate sister married into Prince Tristan's manor. Everyone respected her. Although Fiona did not like her legitimate sister, she could not deny that she also basked in her light quite a bit. Now that she and Prince Tristan were close, in her heart, she firmly believed that sooner or later she would enter Prince Tristan's manor. That was why she respected no one. Fiona gritted her teeth. Who are you scolding? Gigi sneered. I scold whoever has a black heart. Fiona trembled with anger. A brat still smelling of milk dares to speak to me like that. Gigi swept her eyes over Fiona from top to bottom, then clicked her tongue. Her voice full of disdain. You say I am not fully grown yet. Are you fully grown? Let me ask honestly, where has your hair grown fully? Tell me so I can broaden my horizons. Fiona was so angry her face turned red as a gack fruit. You shameless. Gigi put one hand on her hip, the other hand curved into an orchid shape, twisting her body, pretending to be effeminate. Oh my god, I am so shameless. You are so annoying. After acting, Gigi herself got goosebumps, shivering with nausea. Heavens, I disgusted myself. The people around tried to cover their mouths to hold back laughter, but seeing their shoulders shaking incessantly, everyone knew they could not hold it much longer. Little official song is truly interesting. Linda saw her sister like that and hurriedly patted her back, asking worriedly, Gigi, are you alright? Gigi held her breath for a while before standing straight again, laughing. Big sister, I am fine. Just imitated someone and almost choked to death. Fiona screamed in anger. I am not like that. But she had been provoked by Gigi to the point of going crazy. Losing the verbal battle, she raised her hand intending to hit. Jiggy immediately shouted, "Who gave you the dog guts to dare lay hands on a court official?" She turned to say to Linda, "Big sister, if she dares hit me, I will immediately lie down and pretend to be unconscious." "Sister, hurry go report to the officials saying someone assaulted a court official, beating me until I fainted and could not wake up." Fiona was so angry her face distorted. "You dare blatantly frame me?" Gigi sneered, "You dare hit me, I dare frame you. If I do not trick you into losing your fortune, my surname is not Song." Fiona gritted her teeth but dared not act. After all, the news that Jiggy was appointed as a 6th-rank royal scribe had spread throughout the capital. And in this era, a commoner daring to hit an official would only suffer flogging, lightly losing reputation, heavily losing life. Fiona was angry but could not do anything, so she vented her anger by scolding, "Sharp-tongued brat, with this style. Watch out, no one wants to marry you later." Gigi smiled faintly. "Whether I can get married or not, what does it have to do with you? You mention getting married every day. Could it be you are impatient to the point of being unable to bear it?" Fiona glared. "Who says I am impatient?" Gigi shrugged. "If not impatient, then shut up. A girl mentioning marriage all day, outsiders looking in will think you are love-struck to the point of fever. You go die." Gigi smiled brightly. "I am still living very healthily. Seeing you shaking with anger, I feel even healthier." Fiona was angry to the extreme, so she swung her hand and threw the hairpin she had just snatched from Linda onto the counter. Crack, the hairpin broke in two. Gigi saw this and smiled radiantly. "Oh my! The hairpin broke. Now it is exactly as you wished. This hairpin completely belongs to you." She turned to the shop owner. "Owner, just now you said this hairpin costs 3,000 taels of silver. Right, hurry, make her compensate or report to the officials." Fiona pointed at Gigi. "How is this hairpin worth 3,000 taels?" Gigi smiled slyly. "Before breaking it was not worth it, but now it is worth it." The shop owner also laughed, chiming in. "Correct, this hairpin was originally priced at 3,000 taels of silver. Hurry, compensate." This jewelry shop belonged to the property of the second prince, having a strong backer, so of course, there was no need to respect Fiona. Moreover, the shop owner did not like her arrogant style of snatching things, so she went along with Gigi to make things difficult. Fiona gritted her teeth. "I did not bring that much silver." The shop owner sneered. "This is easy. Later I will send someone to your girl's manor to get it." Fiona had no other choice but to bow her head and leave. Returning to the manor, she dared not tell her father and the main wife but secretly sought out the concubine to ask for silver. Concubine Anne, although angry at her daughter's stupidity, thinking that if Fiona could marry into Prince Tristan's manor, she would also bask in the light later. Therefore, she gritted her teeth and took out her private silver to give to her. Receiving the silver, Fiona resentfully cursed Gigi and Linda in her heart simultaneously. She thought about finding a way to flatter Prince Tristan in the days before entering Prince Tristan's manor early, then how would she take revenge on those two? But what Fiona did not know was that her good days were coming to an end. In the jewelry shop, when the owner ordered people to escort Fiona back to the manor to get silver, Gigi turned around and discovered there were suddenly many people in the shop. She asked Kwakwa curiously. "Kwakwa, why are there so many people in the jewelry shop?" "Host? Perhaps it is because just now Fiona bullied your big sister, so it attracted their attention." "Oh, so that is it." Truly never lacking people who like gossip. Gigi did not suspect at all that these people were actually targeting her. Correct, in ancient times, the host cannot surf the internet to watch news, which can be said to be extremely boring. Watching world gossip to kill time is also a way. Kwakwa, what you say makes sense. Just then Linda turned to ask Gigi, "Little sister, are you hungry? Big sister will take you to a restaurant for a meal." Yes, yes. Since returning from court until now, I have only eaten a little. Now I am very hungry." The two sisters rarely had a chance to leave the jewelry shop, so they headed towards Prosperity Tower, the largest restaurant in the capital. What Gigi did not know was that hearing the news she wanted to go to a restaurant to eat, everyone left the jewelry shop one by one, silently following behind. In front of Prosperity Tower, the flow of people going in and out was bustling. Gigi looked up at the building in front of her, exquisitely carved, extremely magnificent. She could not help but exclaim, "Kwa kwa. This restaurant is truly magnificent." Of course, this is the largest restaurant in the capital, and the owner behind it is the current emperor. "Kwa kwa, you mean this is the emperor's private property?" "Correct. All profits of this restaurant pour into the emperor's private treasury." This restaurant has 4 floors. The first floor serves commoners. The second floor welcomes merchants. The third and fourth floors are reserved for officials and their families. Gigi could not help but admire. The division system is truly clear. As soon as she finished speaking, Linda led her into the restaurant. Inside Prosperity Tower, a waiter quickly stepped forward to welcome the guests. "Two young misses, have you booked a table?" "Not yet." "Then I am afraid it is unfortunate. Currently the restaurant is full. Would you two like to wait a moment? Some people eat slowly. A meal lasts a whole hour." Jiggy did not want to wait, so she pulled her big sister's hand to leave. "Not waiting, we will go eat somewhere else." Just then, Linda and Gigi saw Quincy walking in the door. Linda happily called Big Brother. Quincy also saw his two sisters, so he approached. "Linda, Gigi, why are you two here?" Linda answered honestly. "Big Brother, I wanted to take Gigi here to eat, but the waiter said it is full and told us to wait." "Is that so?" "Today I have an appointment with two fellow students to dine here. We booked a private room in advance. If you two do not mind, go with us." Linda looked at Gigi, seeing her sister nod, asked again, "Would that bother you and the young masters?" The two young men accompanying Quincy hurriedly said, "No bother." The Heavenly Phoenix Kingdom had open customs. Men and women making appointments to stroll, boat on the lake, and dine together was also normal. Therefore, no one felt anything improper when Linda and Gigi sat to eat with three young masters. The waiter led them to a private room on the third floor. Gigi looked east and west, looking exactly like Grandma Lou entering the Grand View Garden. Everyone sat down and picked up the menu to look. Gigi waved her hand. "Big Brother, you guys order. I can eat anything." Quincy knew his sister liked to eat meat. As long as it was a meat dish, any dish suited her taste, so he ordered a few meat dishes as the main course. After ordering, Quincy introduced, "These two are my fellow students. The one in white is Simon Shao, and the one in green is the son of the Central Secretariat, Gavin Gao." "Simon, Gavin, these are my two sisters, Linda and Gigi." "Hello." "Two young misses." After the introduction, the whole table began to chat. Gigi did not know that as soon as she entered the private room, a few madams of officials and their children also flocked to the restaurant. They had booked private rooms here year-round. Whenever they wanted to use them, they were available immediately, and their private rooms happened to be near Gigi's place, enough to hear the movement over there. Those who did not book private rooms, after negotiating with the madams, also followed inside. The elegant rooms that were usually booked year-round were now packed with people. They ordered tea and melon seeds, quietly waiting for Gigi's inner voice. On this side, Gigi did not know her brother's fellow students, only sitting silently, but her eyes evaluated the two people opposite. Big Brother's two classmates looked truly not bad. Simon wore a pure white outfit. Under sharp sword eyebrows, narrow eyes were like a spring stream flowing gently. These very eyes made his whole person gentle like warm spring sunshine. High straight nose bridge, thin lips with a pale color, the corners of the lips slightly curved up. Looking at him at this moment, one hand holding a white jade teacup, a few strands of black hair accidentally hanging down by his ear, smiling slightly made people feel warm and vivid. Truly a gentle young master, gentle as jade. Suddenly, Gigi's inner voice rang out in the room. Simon and Gavin were also present on the day of the incident on mid-autumn night. They had long heard her inner voice, so they were much calmer now. But Simon was different. This was the first time he heard a girl praise him like that, so his ears could not help but turn red. Gavin stared at Simon with a face full of implied meaning. Quincy and Linda were ashamed to death. Their sister started again. People in other rooms immediately became excited. "Here it comes, here it comes." New inner voice appeared again. Qua, truly practical. "System host, have you taken a fancy to Simon? I am purely just appreciating a handsome man." "Host, you are not okay. If you regret, you must act." Qua, I really am just appreciating. Not thinking of anything else." "Alright, I believe you. But host, what do you think of Gavin?" Gavin, who was listening with interest, suddenly heard his name and immediately pricked up his ears. He wanted to see how this brat would evaluate him. Immediately after, Gigi's inner voice rang out again. "Gavin has skin white as jade, eyes bright like a sky full of stars. His gaze is clear, sparkling with brilliant light. Every time he slightly raises his eyebrows or smiles gently, it is like sunlight piercing straight into people's hearts. When speaking, his tone is gentle. Every gesture carries gentleness and politeness, overall creating the demeanor of a modest gentleman. System host is truly good, knowing how to evaluate. That is thanks to 20 years of studying by lamplight in the previous life not being in vain." Everyone in the room, even those in other rooms, was stunned. Gigi's previous life studied for 20 years. From the way she described Simon and Gavin, it could also be seen that in her previous life, she must have been a person of profound knowledge. Before everyone could think further, the inner voice rang out again. "System host, Gavin is so good, why don't you just pin him down?" Everyone was stunned silent. Gavin was so shocked he spat a mouthful of tea out, then coughed continuously. This system was truly too indecent. Gigi looked around blankly. Quack, what is wrong with them? System, I do not know either. But host, you have not answered me yet. Do you plan to pin Gavin down? Gavin was afraid of hearing another earth-shattering sentence, so in panic, he blurted out a poem. Not equal to Buddha sitting in the dragon tower, leaning against the red building dancing with swaying wind, difficult to understand worldly affairs below, only afraid the years gently drift by. Saying that, he turned and ran away. Gigi stood frozen on the spot. Quack, does Gavin not have some illness? Why did he suddenly make a poem and run away? Like being chased by wolves behind. Not only her, but the three people in the room and the other rooms were also surprised. Just then, the system's hearty laughter echoed throughout the room. Ha ha ha. Gavin laughed me to death. Quack, what did you discover, tell me? The system laughed for a while before stopping. Host, try pondering the poem Gavin just read and you will understand. Jiggy muttered the poem twice and suddenly realized, what the heck? Going out to the toilet also requires making a poem. Is this something a human does? The three people in the room and those in other rooms all realized, everyone's faces turning red. They did not expect Gavin to do this. The system's laughter continued to echo, oh my god, laughing to death. Gavin is truly a rare talent. His poem is about going to the toilet during the day. I will help him make a poem about night. Moon shadow prints on the stream writing the color of night, gentle wind blows through, peaceful intent suddenly seeing stream water rolling wanna find eaves to rest for a spell. Jiggy was speechless. Quack, are you not just a gossip system? Why make poetry suddenly? Host, my system is a multi-talented system. There are many things you do not know yet. In her heart, Gigi gave a thumbs up to Quack. Quack is amazing. But you are truly amazing. I admire no one but you. Host flatters me. But the host still has not answered my previous question. What question was interrupted by you that I forgot? It is the matter I asked if the host wanted to pin down Gavin. This matter? My definite answer is no. Think about it. Young Master Gao is both noble and aloof. Going to the toilet he makes a poem. Maybe even when farting he makes a poem. Sleeping he makes a poem. Eating rice he makes another poem. Just thinking of that scene drives me crazy. A man like him? People like us do not have the fortune to enjoy. He is only suitable to be admired from afar. Just appreciating a little is enough. Do not think of other things. Alright, this Quackwa is very curious. How does the Central Secretariat normally teach children? Do they have to make poems anytime, anywhere? My data has no information on this. But perhaps the Central Secretariat family does not have the habit of making poems continuously like that. Jitty exclaimed, in other words, the Central Secretariat family only has Gavin as such a strange flower. Seems so, host. What Jiggy did not know was that normally Gavin was not like that, but was scared by Quackwa and her to the point of becoming like this. Actually, the people present and the guests in other private rooms were also curious how Minister Thomas and his wife taught their child to give birth to such a strange flower like Gigi. Then the food was served. Gavin also returned. Gigi was busy eating rice. Everyone started discussing the dishes. No one mentioned the matters just now again. After eating and leaving the restaurant, Simon and Gavin left first. Quincy wanted to take his two sisters back to the manor first before returning to the academy. What they did not know was that as soon as they left the restaurant, the people in other private rooms also left one by one, following little official song always provided melons to eat. Today was not a wasted trip. For the sake of gossip, they still had not eaten anything until now. As soon as Gigi left, the gossip crowd immediately dispersed, rushing to find food to fill their stomachs first. Now the restaurant was less crowded. Many private rooms were empty. Some people stayed to order more dishes, deciding to eat full before returning. Some also dispersed and returned to their manors. After all, the manors had everything. Returning meant food immediately. But the story of Gavin making a poem even when going to the toilet had started spreading everywhere. Some said Gavin was just a bookworm. The two words exit palace were so simple, yet he still had to make a poem for people to guess forever to understand his meaning. Which family's girl marrying such a person? How could she live in the future? Gavin kept occasionally making a poem. As long as the brain reacted a bit slow, one would not understand what he was saying. But some also said, a scholar must have the demeanor of a scholar. Using poetry to express the intent of exiting the palace, that is elegance. Gavin is truly worthy of the name, a great talent. In short, everyone had an opinion. The poem exiting the palace that Gavin made also began to be passed around. From today on, every time someone met Gavin, they would tease him with a few sentences. Brother Gao. Made any new poems this year? Brother Gao, do you have the inspiration to make a poem exiting the palace today? Gavin only felt embarrassed to the point of wanting to burrow into the ground. But there was no other way. That poem was truly made by him. He could not deny it even if he wanted to. Moreover, being teased by so many people, he was alone and could not beat them. And a gentleman uses his mouth, not his hands. How could he hit people? If the teacher and the dean knew, who knew how they would deal with him? In the carriage, Gigi hesitated for a long time, finally saying to Quincy, "Big brother, I heard a piece of news. Miss Fiona went to the Imperial Medical Institute and bought a type of medicine. She intends to use this medicine on Prince Tristan." Quincy and Linda said nothing, just quietly listened to their sister continue. Gigi said, "Censor Peter is a loyal official. I want to remind him a bit. If something happens to Prince Tristan, I am afraid the 9 generations of the wrong family will hardly escape disaster. It is just I do not know how to remind him." Quincy patted Gigi's head. "You do not need to worry about this matter. Just leave it to Big Brother. Big Brother will not ask where I got this news. When you want to say, you will say naturally." Quincy guessed immediately. It was definitely that system named Quaqua telling Gigi. After all, for so many years, as long as it was words little Gigi said, they were definitely the truth. Naturally, Fiona's matter was also true. Gigi smiled sweetly. "Thank you, Big Brother, for believing me. Since it is so, the matter of reminding official wrong I leave to Big Brother." After returning to the manor, Linda and Gigi went back to their respective courtyards. Quincy went to find Minister Thomas, talking about Fiona's matter as well as Gigi's intention to help Peter. Quincy asked, "Father, should we remind official wrong?" Minister Thomas pondered for a while before speaking. "Official wrong is indeed a good official. It would be a pity for the court to lose a person like him. Let father handle this matter. You do not need to worry. Hurry back to the academy. Do not miss this afternoon's class." Yes. After Quincy left, Minister Thomas thought for a moment and then picked up a brush to write a letter. After sealing it, he ordered someone to take it to official wrong's manor, instructing the guard to definitely hand the letter to official wrong personally, absolutely not transferring it through anyone else's hand. The guard received the order and quickly left. Arriving at the wrong manor, the guard explained clearly the reason for coming. The gatekeeper was surprised, wondering what day it was today. Why were there so many people specifically wanting to meet the master like this? Although wondering, he still hurriedly went to report. Before long, the guard was led into the manor. Reading the content of the letter, official wrong's face sank, but there was no surprise in his eyes. Official wrong clasped his hands in thanks. "Thank your master for the reminder. Wait a few days until this matter is resolved. I will personally come to the door to give thanks." Saying so, he ordered someone to reward the guard with silver, then let him leave. But actually, this was not the first letter official wrong received today. Some officials with good relations with him had also sent similar letters. As soon as he received the first letter, official wrong immediately sent people to investigate. Today's event happened in front of not a few people, so it was not too difficult to hear about. It was just that everyone seemed to deliberately avoid mentioning Gigi's matter. However, in today's imperial banquet and this morning's court, he had heard Gigi's inner voice with his own ears. Luke Liu's matter proved that what Gigi said was the truth. So the matter of his young daughter provoking her today, having secrets exposed in front of everyone, was definitely not fake either. Official wrong had ordered an investigation. Fortunately, after Fiona was forced to return to the manor to get silver, she had never left the manor again. Now that the matter was exposed early, this daughter had not yet had time to go out and act, meaning it could still be stopped in time. Official wrong immediately went to find Madame Wrong, recounting the entire story. Madame Wrong heard this and was so angry she almost fainted. The couple immediately led maids and several old women straight to Fiona's courtyard. Arriving there, Madame Wrong ordered, "Drag her out here." Several old women immediately rushed in, dragging Fiona out of the room. Being thrown to the ground, she was still bewildered, not understanding what happened. Madame Wrong said coldly, "Go inside and search." Several old women rushed into Fiona's room in unison. At this time, she panicked. "No, absolutely cannot let them find that thing." Fiona tried to act pitiful, tears in her eyes, choking up. "Father, mother, what are you two doing? What wrong has your daughter done? Why search my room?" Looking at her affected appearance, both official wrong and Madame Wrong only felt disgusted. They were too lazy to argue with her, only patiently waiting for the search results. At this time, the doctor whom Madame Wrong ordered to be invited also arrived. Just stepping in, Dr. Han felt something was wrong with the atmosphere, but he had already arrived. At this time, he could not turn back immediately. He could only obediently stand aside and wait. Before long, several old women walked out of the room, holding an envelope and a small paper packet. They presented both items to official wrong and then retreated. Seeing those two items, Fiona's face turned pale immediately. She knew she was finished this time. Official wrong opened the paper packet, looked at Dr. Han, and handed it straight to him. Dr. Han, check what this is. Dr. Han stood in the middle of this situation, involuntarily shivering in his heart. Was he accidentally dragged into some conspiracy? His hands tremblingly received the paper packet. He carefully observed and said, "Official, this is aphrodisiac powder used for breeding animals." As soon as the words were spoken, Fiona immediately screamed in anger. "You speak nonsense. Clearly, this is medicine to help women conceive easily." Hearing this, Dr. Han glared. Someone dared to doubt his medical skills. Hearing this, his face immediately darkened. He had practiced medicine for decades, treating countless people, never making a mistake. Yet today he was doubted. Was that not looking down on him? At this time, Dr. Han no longer had apprehensions. Anger rose. This old man speaks the truth. This is inherently aphrodisiac powder specialized for breeding animals. If you do not believe, you can invite another doctor to verify. At this time, Official Wrong knew the truth clearly. This matter completely matched the content in the previous letters. Of course, he trusted Dr. Han. Official Wrong nodded slightly. "We naturally believe Dr. Han. It is just regarding today's matter. Hope the doctor keeps his mouth shut." "That is natural." Afterward, Official Wrong ordered someone to pay the medical fee, then saw Dr. Han out of the manor. After Dr. Han left, Official Wrong opened the envelope to read. The content of the letter was not long. In the letter, she wrote expressing longing and admiration for Prince Tristan, then made an appointment to meet him at the old place. Reading finished, Official Wrong gave the letter to his wife. He stepped forward, launching a kick straight at Fiona, causing her to fall flat on the ground, then shouted, "Shameless thing. You bought aphrodisiac used for animals and made an appointment with Prince Tristan. What is the meaning? Not to mention you being shameless, daring to seduce your own brother-in-law. Just this drug matter alone, do you know if used on humans carelessly it can cause loss of life? Do you intend to kill the prince? You want to die, no one stops you. But do you want to drag 9 generations of the wrong family to die with you?" Hearing this, Fiona panicked. "No, I did not. I did not want to harm Prince Tristan. I just wanted to enter Prince Tristan's manor, giving birth to a child for him early. I thought this was medicine to help women conceive easily." "Correct. It was that doctor who deceived me. This is not my fault." As soon as the words ended, Official Wrong's anger rose even higher. He immediately raised his leg, delivering another kick, causing Fiona to roll on the ground. Doing wrong and still daring to deny. "Is this how we taught you?" This kick was not lenient. Fiona was in pain, lying prone on the ground, unable to get up for a long time. Just then, Concubine Anne stumbled in, kneeling on the ground, continuously kowtowing. "Master, Madam, the third young miss is still young and foolish. She knows her mistake. Please forgive her this time." Seeing Concubine Anne, Peter became even more angry. These terrible ideas were all instigated by the woman in front of him. Truly a disaster, if kept in the manor. Who knows what big trouble she would cause later. Official Wrong ignored Concubine Anne's plea, ordered someone to beat her half to death, then handed her to the steward with orders to sell her. Concubine Anne did not expect that her plea failed and she was even sold. She tried to suppress the pain from being beaten until bloody, trembling and begging. "Master, you cannot treat me like this. After all, I have served you for more than 10 years. You cannot be so unfeeling." Official Wrong looked at her with disgusted eyes. "If not for the affection of past years, I would have killed you long ago. Look at what you have caused. Just selling you is already too late for you." Concubine Anne intended to beg more, but her mouth was covered tightly by an old woman, dragging her out. Fiona witnessed everything to the point of being stunned. She did not expect her father to sell even Concubine Anne. Clearly, she just wanted to marry into a better place. Why did things turn out like this? Unwilling, Fiona screamed. "Concubine Anne just wanted to help me marry into a better place. I also just wanted to marry someone with status. I did not do anything wrong. Why do you treat me like this?" Official Wrong had not yet decided how to deal with this rebellious daughter. Unexpectedly, not only did she not repent, she dared to question him. Anger rose again. He said coldly, "Wanting to marry into a better place is not wrong. But are there no men left in this world? Why must you entangle with your brother-in-law? If it was just that, it would be one thing. But you dared to drug Prince Tristan. If something happened to Prince Tristan, not only the Wrong manor but the entire Wrong clan would be executed because of you. Before doing anything, why do you not think of the consequences? Do you still have the face to question us? Concubine Anne helping you plot is not helping but harming you. Not only harming you but harming the entire Wrong family." Fiona knew her father knew everything, but being unwilling, she questioned like that. Now being exposed by him without any respect, she could only collapse on the ground, crying silently. Official Wrong turned to his wife, coldly ordering, "Hurry, take this evil creature to the farm. Must guard strictly. Do not let her cause any disaster again." Yes, master. Madame Wrong also hated this daughter of a concubine to the bone. Why must she compete for a husband with her daughter? Almost causing the wrong manner to invite a killing disaster. Now that there was an order from the master, this cheap person had fallen into her hands, then do not blame her for being cruel. The next morning, Fiona was escorted to the farm. Besides a close maid following to serve, there were also 6 strong old women. This time the madam of the Wrong family was truly angry, specially choosing a few healthy old women, ordering that when arriving at the farm, they must put effort into taking care of the third Miss well. These old women were all experts in the profession. Their mouths guaranteed thoughtful care, but in reality, they were best at tormenting people. Their sophisticated torture methods could be said to be endless. Fiona wanted to resist, but was directly tied hand and foot and thrown onto the carriage. Her days of living worse than death were about to begin. Until this moment, Fiona still could not understand how on earth her father discovered the things she did. The more she thought, the more suspicious she became of the people around her, beginning to doubt everything. On Prince Tristan's side, not seeing Fiona for a few days, he was restless, so he sent people to investigate. After knowing Fiona had been sent to the farm, the entire incident was also reported back to him intact. Hearing this, Prince Tristan's face immediately darkened. Giving him that medicine. This was clearly wanting to ruin him. Thinking of the scene where he could have lost his life because of this matter, he was so angry he smashed the teacup in his hand. This Fiona is truly deserving of death 1,000 times, daring to calculate against this prince like that. Truly not wanting to live anymore. At this time, Prince Tristan felt that official wrong not directly killing Fiona seemed too lenient. But now that the person had been taken away, and there were fierce old women accompanying, he did not need to act anymore. Letting her live worse than death was more satisfying than killing her immediately. On this side, Gigi returned to her courtyard, unable to suppress a yawn. She immediately said to Bella, "Bella, I am sleepy. I want to sleep a bit more." Bella wondered. "Miss, did you not just sleep another nap after coming back from court?" "Correct. But going out for a round and coming back makes me sleepy again," Gigi replied while changing clothes. Sleepy again." Bella pouted. "Miss, you are clearly being lazy." Then she asked, "But in winter you are also like that." Gigi laughed. "Bella, you do not know. Winter is called hibernation." "Alright, you go out. Do not disturb me. I want to rest." "Yes." Bella was too used to the second Mrs. Strange logic. She had only heard of bears and snakes hibernating, never heard of humans needing hibernation too. "But fine then. Better to go out." Gigi just slept straight through. Not knowing how long later, Bella's voice rang in her ear. "Miss, hurry, wake up. There is a guest at home. The master calls you to the front hall for a trip." In her grogginess, Gigi heard this and mumbled, "If there is a guest, just receive them. It is not like we never had guests." "Is father not there? Calling me for what? I am not going." Saying so, she rolled over, pulling the blanket to cover her head, intending to sleep again. Bella hurriedly shouted, "Miss, you better get up quickly." The servant passing the message said, "If you do not come, the master will tell the steward to deduct your pocket money for this month." Hearing about deducting pocket money, Gigi immediately sat up, her expression instantly alert. "Deducting my pocket money? Absolutely not allowed," she turned to say to Bella. "Alright, go get water for me to wash my face. I must be presentable before going to meet the guest." Bella happily went immediately. How could she not be happy? Usually calling the young miss to wake up. If it did not take half an hour, do not expect her to get up. Today getting up so fast, truly the first time. Still the master is amazing, using pocket money to control the miss tightly. After Bella left, Gigi asked Quaqua who came. Quaqua replied, "Host, it is Norman, that old fossil came." Gigi was suspicious. "Humph, what is he doing? Didn't he vomit blood and faint? Why is he well so fast?" Quaqua replied, "Host, maybe when vomiting blood he did not lose too much blood, so he woke up fast." Gigi said regretfully, "What a pity. I thought he stopped breathing. Why is he healthy again?" Quaqua said, "Host, do not think any more. He is living very well. Is this not proof of the saying good people do not live long, while disasters live 1,000 years? Gigi immediately labeled Norman a disaster. At this time Bella brought water in. Gigi washed her face while asking Quaqua. "Right, Quaqua. What did that old fossil come to my house for? Could it be because of the blood vomiting matter the other day? Intending to find me and father to cause trouble? Could he want to throw a tantrum saying he was provoked by us to the point of vomiting blood at the court gate? Not allowed. I do not have money to compensate him. Host, you think too much. The old fossil came to the door this time to apologize to us." Gigi asked in surprise, "Apologize to us? What did my father do that I do not know to the point that old man had to come to the door to apologize? Your father seems to have done nothing. How can that be? Could it be that old man suddenly discovered a conscience, feeling that bullying a child like me is immoral, so he came to the door to apologize? With his personality, I really cannot believe it. Host, believe it or not, going to see for yourself, won't you know immediately? Although still suspicious in her heart, Gigi still quickly washed her face and combed her hair. Arriving at the place, indeed she saw Norman. Beside him were two large wooden chests. As soon as he saw Gigi, Norman immediately stood up. Little official song has arrived. Thank you for listening to the story on Bamboo Audio channel. Please give the channel a like and subscribe, or leave a comment so the channel has motivation to release more great stories.